A little bit of a delay, you're going to hear my voice. Then you might hear my voice again as I listen to my voice. Make sure you're all hearing my voice correctly. I do that at the start of every stream. If you aren't used to that by now, my bad. But a little bit of a delay, you're going to hear my voice. There we go. I would hate for it to not be working appropriately. What up, Tiago? How is everybody out there today? What do we have for you on the docket? It is a new player LAN battles tournament. Trying to get some new faces in the community. Get some people used to tournaments. Give LAN battles a try. Hosting a Total Tavern to kind of broaden out our audience. I do enjoy Challenge as a website. It is very slick. But Turn's been expanding his thing more and more. He said eventually there'll be a LAN battle leaderboard or something. But if you want new faces to give it a shot, generally we gotta go to the old tavern. A lot of domination players hanging around here looking for stuff, and we do want to encourage them to give the LAN battles a try. If they don't like it, they don't like it. No skin off their back for giving it a shot. Alrighty, looks like that went off without a problem. Rainy Frog versus Boojilicious and the Forgotten. How do I, as an admin, can I swap those? I would rather the Forgotten get to fight Rainy Frog rather than Booj, since Booj has been around longer. Oh well, shit happens. Okay, don't click finalize tournament. That's how I end the tournament. So this is just it. Okay, I don't know how to shuffle anything. I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm not gonna fuck it up. We're good. I think we're good. Rat Ogre friends, you are live. Go, go. No need to wait for stream, but please send me replays of semifinals and finals. I will be casting those. All right. So yeah. There was a new system I wanted to try for casting. I wanted to cast replays of both semifinals, so we got to see all those, and then cast replays of the finals. This can cut down on lag time and waiting for like picks and bans and such. We'll see if people enjoy that or not. I was going to do it in a previous tournament, but then I ended up getting into the semifinals and finals, and that made it awkward to hold up a whole tournament to go cast the other semifinal. So I couldn't do it. Until then, we will be casting live games. It's just once they get to the semis, late night tournament, I usually want to have as little stalling as possible. Just rip through this stuff and people can get to bed. So we got to find somebody. Let's spectate Penguino and King DD. That sounds fun. Let's go, let's go. Does this mean I'm going to get destroyed? I'm Rainy Frog. Hey, Rainy Frog. Boojilicious isn't like an incredible player. Like, he's still in the new player category. He's just better on the Discord, so like I know him a little bit better. If you want my honest opinion, yeah, you're probably going to lose, but I don't think it's going to be like Inticity versus me when I was starting out levels. Yeah, Rocket's explaining it too. Booj is also a great guy. Fucking love Booj. Unevolved is more like it. Yeah. So we have Rainy Frog in the chat. You're feeling sad? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad to hear you're holding on, but I'm sorry you're feeling sad. It's going to be a good lose. Yeah. All right, sorry. I got to find the thing. Is Penguino related to Blood Penguin? Nah, dude. He was asking me for some Skaven tips, though. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, there's a lobby code for Penguin. Where is this Alex dude? Alexander? Okay, sorry. Someone was having troubles finding their opponent and I had to help them with that. God, why doesn't everybody just know everything already? It upsets me. Oh, what the hell did you make the password? Pepe is the password. Alright, I can appreciate that. You'd love to get into multiplayer, but I can't micro cavalry for the life of me. I played Dwarven boxes and Skaven gunlines and Vampire Coast gunlines for legitimately a year before I branched out and started playing with cavalry. And now I enjoy cavalry quite a lot. But no, when I started playing multiplayer, I just stayed in my own little metaphorical box, but also literal box. And I was just like, this is what I want to do. I just want to play boxes and shoot at people with my thunderers and my rattling guns and enjoy my life. Okay, who's his opponent? King Didi is his opponent. Gotcha. King Didi. Okay. We're there. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Technically, yeah. I played Penguino recently. He good. I'm a cheer for him. Good. It's hard to pick favorites because in a new player tournament, you want to support everybody. But it is tradition, so we'll pick our tournament favorite. Who's going to win it tonight? With 6, 11. I think that's 11. Hold on, quick maths. Yeah. 11 players tonight. I think that gives me a tournament favorite and a dark horse. So tournament favorite and a dark horse. I'm going with Subaru, the Subaru over here. This guy's been hanging out on Discord. He's had a lot of meta thoughts. He's had a lot of balanced discussion thoughts. A lot of big thoughts in that brain of his. Yeah, I'm thinking he's pretty smart. I'm thinking he's pretty talented. So he's going to be my favorite. He also has a funny picture for Discord, so that's big ups. So whoever wins this matchup we're about to spectate is going to lose to my tournament favorite, Lasaurus. He's going to slap him. For my dark horse, I'm going to go with Long Boy because he's so long you don't know where the hits are coming from. Like, you just don't. You're trying to keep your eye on your opponent at all times, but that's requiring you to like crane your neck back and you're not seeing things. You're going to get distracted. So Long Boy, Lasaurus, going to take the dubs today. Okay. I would like to rescind my statement because Lasaurus is in my Discord right now asking how to get the Glade Captain, and he's saying he can't access Total War Access. So if he doesn't have the Glade Captain for the Wood Elves, he is completely fucked in this tournament. I would like to rescind my guess. Can I, judges? Judges? They're shaking their heads. All right, we're sticking with him, but if he plays Wood Elves, we all know it's a fucking L without the Glade Captain. All right, I'm gonna turn the light on so you guys can see my gorgeous face. I'd think it goes without saying, but just going to say it to preempt the YouTube comments. If you are watching back this live stream in the future, you feel like leaving a comment underneath the video, and that comment is something along the lines of, wow, X player really fucked that up. That lost him the game. Read the title of the stream. What does it say? Does it say a super pro amazing player tournament in which mistakes are rare and should be criticized? Or does it say new player tournament and there's going to be mistakes? There's going to be mistakes all over the fucking board. Like, everybody in this tournament making mistakes all day long. It's only happened to me a couple times, but I just, like, when I see those comments on, like, new player videos, I like hold my head in my hands. I'm like, I don't even know how to. What do you expect to happen? Oh god. Yeah, well. Some people will never be happy, but I do gotta do that little disclaimer for my own sanity. Alright, we got Skaven versus what? Demons of Chaos? Looks like, I have a blocker up, right? I'm not just being stupid. Okay, good. Pinguino on Skaven, ready up. His opponent doesn't even have an army yet. There's literally nothing there, so I don't know if he's even selected Demons of Chaos or if he just went for it. What up, Be'lakor? Oh shit, it's Nurgle. If you could pick Ulrika as a lord, that would be great. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be against that. She's too expensive for a hero to, like, want to comfortably spend about 2,000 gold on a hero is fucking brutal. Rainbow, you played your first Dom best of 3 today and got slapped. Felt good. I hope you're not being sarcastic. I hope you actually did have fun with it. Because, like, entering tournaments, unless it's a new player tournament like this where everyone in it is new, but if you're just playing, like, normal tournaments like I was, dude, I lost first round of every tournament I played for, like, legitimately the first 20 or so I played. I just kept hopping in to get some games. Because I wanted to get into multiplayer, but I played Quick Battle and had a bad time. Which, not everybody has a bad time. I know that. I did. I got really salty at, especially like Wood Elf Kite, which is a legitimate way to play the game. I know that now, but when I was a newer player and like I was really getting into it around the time, what DLC did I come in on? I don't know. Anyway, there was a lot of fucking Wood Elves running around. And I was like, I'm gonna learn how to play this video game. This is gonna be fun. Load in. Enemy has like 400 troop count. 4 Hawk Riders up in the sky, a Spellcaster up in the sky, and all the units on the ground are invisible. And I'm like, what's going on? And then some of those invisible things on the ground would start shooting arrows at me and then running away like little bitches. Every game was 15 minutes long and I never got to play. And I was like, this is stupid as hell. So I just started joining tournaments and playing in those. I'm like, I'd rather lose in these and get some good games and get fucking punked on quick battles. Which, like, again, there are people who have tons of fun on quick battles, and I was also just really bad. Like, looking back on what my opponents did that used to piss me off, it's very counterable, very, like, I don't want to say easily handled things, because it makes it sound like it's easy to beat Kite, but, like, it's as easy to beat Kite as it is to beat Rush as it is to beat Boxing. Like, it's just a style of the game. But when I was brand new and that shit, I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what's shooting at me. I look around every so often and arrows just appear. Because, like, I'd played some campaign at that point, but in Warhammer 2, there wasn't a lot of Wood Elves on the map. So it wasn't like I'm like, oh, Way Watchers, 1,300 gold, 360 shooting armor pierce. I literally didn't know what it was that was happening to me. And I was like, this is the stupidest shit. All right. What up, Edwin? How you doing? Rambo, I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad. Was it one of the ones, the single faction ones on Turin's server, or was it a different one somehow? All right. We have Pinguino on the Skaven versus Nurgle. This can be a tough matchup for the Skaven, can be if you're in a super elite Nurgle player, but from what I've experienced, most Nurgle players, this is pretty easy for the Skaven overall, I would say. Nurgle relies on a high HP pool, slow movement speed, and high melee defense for his tankiness, and the Skaven go, nice melee defense you got there, anyway, and just start shooting the shit out of you. So, it's a tough go. Kugath also is a rather potent and powerful lord, but he can have a problem just getting shot in the face, and Skaven are really good at shooting you. So what to do in this matchup traditionally as Nurgle, if you want to have a good chance, is a bunch of Furies, Nurglings, Dogs, Plague Toads, and just mass disruption. Throw yourselves at the enemy, get into that backline by just forcing your way through the front. Like, don't wait for the front line to break. Literally keep spam clicking your toads to go forward. And get onto the backline, disrupt them, and leave all of the infantry for the late game. Your entire job is to shut down the range. So for Nurgle here, we do have 2 Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, 2 Dogs, 4 Nurglings, a front line of Marauders, 2 Toads, Kugath Plaguefather, double Cultist, both of which have the summon ability. On the outside for the Skaven, Clan Rats, Skaven Slaves, a bunch of Globes, looks like 3 Globes, 3 Rattling Guns, a Warplock Jezzail team, 4 Rat Ogres, and a Greyseer of Plague with Vermintide and Dreaded 13th. I know Penguino was talking to me in DMs about Skaven, and I gave him some advice, and this looks like a version of my builds, so it seems like he took my advice to heart. Let's hope that I do not fail him. So for either player watching this back, we will give some advice as it pertains. For the Skaven, they need to tighten up a bit. These Rat Ogres and Spears are currently defending nothing, while Globes do have a point of Ingress that is left unlocked. Now, if Penguino took my advice to heart, he did actually space out his Globe team so that this flank that's happening, there's 1 Globe being disrupted and the rest of his weapons teams are plenty far away, so they have room to shoot to cover their own guys, and he is pulling Rat Ogres in to defend them, so very nice. As for the Nurgle player, really liking the Toads right now, really loving how quickly he pushed through that front line, how the Toads haven't really stopped moving, they haven't bothered with chasing the Spears too much, they are just moving deeper into that back line, and you gotta love it. Rattling Guns continuing to fire. Looks like they are shooting at Kugath now. That's fine. Yeah, that's a decent target. I would personally prioritize the Toads, because Kugath isn't going to be the one walking your backline disrupting you. The Toads are. So you got to secure your weapons teams first, make sure they can keep firing, deal with the slow, big, monstrous threat later. But so far, the Skaven doing well. We are seeing generally why I said against most players who's not like a Nurgle one-trick amazing player. This matchup feels really good for Skaven because they're just super good at killing all of your random nonsense. The Nurgle player disrupting the Skaven. He tried to get some of the Globes down, but it looks like Rat Ogres plus the Rattling Guns covering the front line did make short work of him over there. Globes still continuing to fire. And the 100 armor on the Globes makes them really tough to deal with. Like, I've played Warhammer 3 for so long, I don't remember really what it was like. But I remember, like, in Warhammer 2, if a dog got onto your Globes, they would, like, disintegrate pretty quickly. That's just not the way things are anymore. The Toads, with their armor-piercing anti-infantry, could do some decent damage, but dogs just kind of stop them for a bit. Rattling Guns shooting at the poor little cultist, who's just trying to stay in the fight. Now, the battle isn't over. It is looking decidedly against Nurgle, but the damage values aren't that different. And Kugath is still alive. He's been Rancid Visitationing the Greyseer. The Greyseer is actually getting close to getting sniped out. So if he dies, I mean, the Skaven leadership could be an issue. Warplock Jezzails still have tons of ammo, though. Rattling Guns still have tons of ammo, and this cultist is doggedly pursuing these Rattling Guns, really keeping them on the back foot. Double Cultist is not legal according to the Fruit rules, but it is a new player tournament, so it's... I mean, these people aren't, like, super familiar with all of the nuances of tournament rule. I was going to deal with it if it became a problem, but if Nurgle loses, then it doesn't matter that he brought double summons. Kugath's still fighting it out, trying to nuke over to help his cultist friend. This cultist is still trying to charge up. Hold on. Does he have his gate? He has his gate. There, it is active. Nice. Rattling Gunner's trying to shoot him for now. They are getting a ton of damage out onto the poor lad. Oh my god, and he's just dead. But his Plague Bearer summon might kill off those Rattlings. And if all the range dies, Kugath is going to be a problem. Nurgle Rotfall unit's got all the buffs. They should be good at targeting weapons teams. And they do have good armor piercing. You'd have to ask Umbrella. He's in the chat. All right, Rattling Guns continuing to fire in. Doing as great as they usually do. If Fecundity is down, and wow, he's focus firing down Kugath. Now is probably the right time for that because army losses is so close. If you can chunk out this big boy's HP pool, you can make the game think that it is over and just army loss him. But also, killing him outright is a huge play, so good job there from the Skaven. And I really liked the Nurgle player's play. I think he did a lot of things right. He just ran into not having the perfect build versus Skaven, and they're really good at punishing any imperfections in a build. Skaven are really good at tearing apart. So brutal. You 20 stack with Kugath, Umbrella, so you do take Kugath in this matchup. Interesting. For the Skaven, Warplock Giselle did fine. The Rattling Guns were the heroes of the day. They did fantastically. Globes did just fine, but it was mostly the Rattling show, as none of the Skaven infantry and even the Rat Ogres didn't come close to paying for themselves. Nurgle defeated whatever he could in melee, but the Skaven did do a good job of just chucking stuff into the meat grinder to die, keeping their Rattlings safe. Kugath did okay. He hung on till the end. Cultists were a little annoying for the Skaven to deal with. Dogs, Plague Toads, anything with multi-entities did struggle against El Ratties. All right, that's one up for Penguino. And Grace just got home from work, so I'm going to go say hello to her. I'll be back in just a moment. You taught Penguin this matchup. Happy you performed. How dare you. Okay, BRB. I have returned. I'm back. Grace has been alerted that her dinner is prepared for her. How to locate it. You only got Warhammer 2/1. A cat with whiskers. Warhammer 3 is pretty good right now. On launch, it was bad. After Immortal Empires, it was decent. And then with some patches, I think it's firmly in the good territory now. maybe even the Great Territory. Now, like, for people who play this a lot, might be like, how could you say it's in the Great Territory? There's all these bugs, there's healing issues, there's yada, 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 all those things. Yeah. But treating it as a video game compared to other video games, not compared to itself and what it could be, but compared to other video games, this shit's pretty great. You get a bunch of really cool factions. A lot of unique units are performing right now, so you can go off meta and still have some success. Obviously not at like the highest level of the highest tournaments, but on quick battles you'll be fine. The campaigns are super dope. Even if the AI is a little easy, if you haven't picked up the game yet, then you won't know all of the stuff yet, so an easy AI isn't that big of a problem. And there's supposed to be an update coming out this week. Supposed to be. So we'll see. But while I can be rather down on certain aspects of the game, I think overall this game, super solid purchase right now. It was not worth it on release, though. On release, definitely don't fucking buy it. Okay. For anybody out there who sees Chaos Dwarfs versus Grand Cathay, and you think about popping over to see what Turn's doing, looking behind the blocker, I would ask you to wait until you see the builds and then decide if you want to leave. A cat with whiskers? I will make you a promise, cat with whiskers. And it's a promise that if I have no follow-up, you have no way of punishing me for not having follow-up, so it's a safe promise to make. I will still be here when you get this game. When you get Warhammer 3, this tournament scene will be alive, healthy, and well. We'll be hosting 4 tournaments a week, $1,000 cash prize pool every week, and you are welcome to join us at any point in time. That is a promise. That is a guarantee. Don't look too deeply into that. All right. Can the box of Cathay stand up to a motherfucking Dreadquake mortar with Drazoth the Ashen leading it? You know, I feel like the Dreadquake mortar was made specifically for like dwarf style factions like Cathay. This sounds like an okay matchup. Should be an all-out shoot or something, right? Yeah. It's just like certain people are like Chaos Dwarves, Cathay, both aren't people's favorite factions to watch right now due to broken units or due to just like box playstyles. Well, on the Chaos Dwarf side, he didn't take Astrogoth and he took a fucking Dreadquake, so we're very far off the meta over here. And on the other side for Cathay, this could become a pretty decent box if Awesomers / King Dedede is on top of that shit, but like, we'll see. Hey, it's current year. I hope that's a good thing and not a net bad thing. Is that the real Be'lakor? Yeah. Post-nerfs, Be'lakor just hangs out in my YouTube chat rather than playing in Warhammer 3 right now. Like, the character Be'lakor, I haven't seen them in Warhammer 3 for a while, so they're just chilling in my YouTube chat. Ah, damn it, he's on the jokes. Alright. For the armies, we do have Jade Lancers, Peasant Horsemen. So 2 Peasant Horsemen, 3 Jade Lancers. We have 2 Crane Gunners, 1 Iron Hail Gunner, 2 Iron Hail Gunners, Jade Warriors with Halberds, Jade Warriors, Peasant Long Spears mixed throughout. We have a Dragonblood Shugi Lord of Yin. I have not seen this lady in forever. She recently got some nerfs, so she's not as broken, overpowered anymore. Now she's just, like, fine. But Miao Ying really had a glow up, so people have been using her a lot. So I guess in a weird way, it's good to see her again. But Ancestral Warrior Summon and the Talons of Night. On the other side, we have a Dreadquake Mortar. That is there. We have the Dreadquake Mortar, triple Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, one of my favorite aesthetic units on the Chaos Dwarf roster. I love their sound design, I love their visual design when they fire. A bunch of Hobgoblin Cutthroats backed up by Goblin Laborers, and Drazoth the Ashen on his mount, making him very expensive, with Ash Storm, Burning Wrath, and his Graven Scepter. And the Dreadquake Mortar is firing upon the Cathayans, forcing them to not adopt a box strategy, forcing them out. And can the Crane Gunners get into range? It looks like they cannot. So the Dreadquake Mortar is going to be allowed to fire while the Crane Gunners turn their ire onto a more pressing target to them, apparently. Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses. Now, Crane Gunners and Jezzails did get some penetration in their bullets, making them rather effective at dealing with infantry. And you can see that right now. It's going very well for the Crane Gunners. Iron Hail Gunners trying to defend the Dragon-Blooded Shugi Lord of Yin from Drazoth, who is chasing her around, but Peasant Horseman should provide the mass she needs to get out of there. She's even going to throw down an Ancestral Warrior summon for the arm-piercing halberds, really trying to punish that guy. Goblin Laborers do sprint through the front line. It looks like Jade Lancers have a pretty quick reaction time to stop them in their tracks. They will rout them off. Goblin Laborers are pathetic melee infantry, partially by design, but especially without a Chaos Dwarf around to tell them what to do. And the Dreadquake lands another big hit. Half health off the Iron Hails, and it's only getting worse as they continue to try and fire at Drazoth, but their own Peasant Horsemen are blocking them for the moment because somehow a giant Bale Taurus gets blocked by tiny horses, even though I can very clearly see him. But oh well, not the point. Ancestral Warriors trying to catch up here. The Goblin frontline is falling apart rather quickly, as I'm sure surprises no one. Damage value is roughly equal. And hey, there's some Bull Centaur renders. I honestly didn't notice you guys. They must have been behind my screen. They are fighting some Jade Lancers. They will destroy that fight, but with Jade Warrior Halberds nearby, if they aren't pulled back when that comes around, they could have a bad time. The Ancestral Warriors getting their damage off onto Drazoth before they fade away in 30 seconds. Yeah, that's too much time. He's got to run away. Big shot from the Iron Hails, chunking him down as the Dreadquake Mortar continues to try and get its value back. The Dragon-Blooded Shugi Lord of Yin is throwing out at Townsend Knight, just having the best day of her entire life as Drazoth gets continually nuked, and Grand Cathay probably taking a commanding lead in this game. If they can snipe out Drazoth like that with Crane Gunners and the Iron Hail shooting at him, the Dreadquake Mortar is causing them problems, but as they take more damage, it will deal less because they'll have less models. So that's like a weird silver lining to take from this, but it is a silver lining. There's Drazoth. He's waiting to get murdered for the last time. These Peasant Horsemen need to just abandon him because they're currently blocking their own guy's line of sight somehow. I know it's silly because he's gigantic, but still. They are taking him. They're taking him down. And the Dragon-Blooded Shugi Lord is getting involved. She might want to be careful of all of those blunderbusses, but if she can get back there, she could just solo the Dreadquake in melee. She's way better at melee combat than that thing. Drazoth is about to die. I think we could just consider him dead. There he goes. And without their leader, the Goblins' already paltry leadership is just going to get worse. Dreadquake Mortar continuing to punish all of the Cathay infantry, though. And the new lord for the Chaos Dwarfs is these Bull Centaur Renders, who are trying to avoid some Jade Warrior Halberds right now, getting shot by Crane Gunners and surrounded by Jade Lancers. They are not enjoying that whatsoever. The Dreadquake is now turning its ire onto that last Crane Gunner. The Shugi Lord is thinking about saying hello. Thinking about saying Bob's your uncle. Short! Oh, that's gonna be terrible. Okay, wait. The Dreadquake Mortar has more speed than I thought it did. I thought if it got frostbited, it couldn't escape. So if they notice this is happening, they can drive away from these Ancestral Warriors, but the Ancestral Warriors are going to eat the Dreadquake alive, and that will bring the Chaos Dwarves down. GG. Dreadquake was fucking epic. Yes. All right. Someone had a question in Discord, so I got distracted momentarily. Dreadquake, 2,300 value. Did pretty good. Drazoth, he actually got more value than I would have expected, but then he did get murked pretty quickly after that. Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses and the Bull Centaurs struggling a little bit. Hobgoblins doing better than I would have thought, honestly, but Goblin Laborers doing about as well. The speed is a lie? Good to know. Dwarves are my favorite faction. They do not suck in 3. They're just... A lot of people don't like how they play right now because they rely on a weird blob and a hero hammer. This is the this is the Iron Hail that shot Draz off. This is the Iron Hail Gunner that got shot by the Dreadquake. Very different values. Cathay Horsemen did well. Most of their infantry didn't do that great. Crane Gunners and Iron Hails did fine, but yeah, GG. GG. Got ourselves a series on our hands. Well, as expected, I've been destroyed. Dr. Mygalon. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you at least had a good time out of it. I hope Bougelicious was a complete gentleman. I'm sorry. You forgot to play against most normal dwarf builds? Yeah, I enjoy normal dwarves. I actually do. I really like their voice lines. I really like their model design. I like their play style because I am a shooty shoot player. I like normal dwarves. Yeah. Doctor, and for anybody else who feels like it, if you are not a part of a new player tournament right now and you're like, man, I want to play with some new players, but I don't have time for these long bullshit-ass tournaments. Human Boy, why don't you make an experience for people who aren't around for long bullshit-ass tournaments? I do. If you go to give the Rat Ogre roll and get the Rat Ogre roll like all of these fine people here, you get access to the Best of One practice pit. And the only people who can see it are my mods and admins and other new players like yourselves. So, like, literally the only people who could be in here are other new players. Or you could get games like this tournament at any point in time. If someone's being a dickhead, you tell us, we talk to them. They either stop being a dickhead or they get kicked out. So, yeah. Right now we're just working on growing this community because the biggest problem we have is not troublemakers. The problem is population. We need more people, more new players getting in here playing some games so that people don't have long queue times. But it can be nice if you're sitting down for a night of quick battles, if you just want to pop in here, throw down the exclamation point game, and then play your quick battles anyway, and if anybody matches with you, they match with you. You know? It seems fine. Hi. So there's my pitch. We also, of course, will be hosting just more new player events. We try to do them once a week. I don't have a ton of time to run them myself, so I have an admin who volunteered to do some of that stuff, but he got busy with IRL work things recently, so these last 2 weeks we didn't have a new player event. So to kind of apologize for that, I hosted two this weekend, one in each time zone so that more people could play. But we aim for one new player specific event a week. I think last weekend we did new player bingo, which was in that best of one bot I just showed. We give you a bingo card full of like silly things. Like for the Lizardmen, it's take Gorok. And for the Skaven, it's like, you know, take Doom Wheels or something. So fun units you don't normally see. And win or lose, if you took it and submit the replay, you can cross it off in your bingo. And the first like 3 people to get bingos, we gave them DLCs of their choice. Actually, Bougelicious helped sponsor that one. So we have various things. If you're interested at all in land battle scene, just hop in there, get the Rat Ogre roll. It doesn't cost you anything. If you ever get sick of it, you can just leave. No harm, no foul. And 2, you just spammed Longbeards and Grudge Throwers. You got me in 4 years, Chief. A cat with whiskers. Cat with whiskers, are you in my Discord? He keeps screeching and talking about Warpstone. Okay, I was busy doing that pitch. I didn't even pay attention to what's going on. So for Penguino, we have Empire versus Awesomer's Ogres. I am terrified for this Empire build right now. They look mega fucked. Can I get the game off of Warhammer 2 bingo? Oh, we might be able to work something out. We might be able to figure something out. But, like, hold on, I gotta figure this out. What the hell am I looking at? Okay, the Empire has no caster. First note, always bring a caster. But Penguino, to be completely fair, Penguino did mention to me before the stream, they're like, I've been practicing Skaven. I don't really play much else right now. So we saw their Skaven game was honestly pretty crisp, pretty clean. Liked it a lot. And then, you know, their Chaos Dwarf build was a little... It was very fun. It was very fun. But they took the Dreadquake Mortar, which sucks. And now they don't have a caster for their Empire, so it's pretty clear that once they were off of their main, they're feeling a little uncomfortable and their builds aren't as, like, you know, precise. So for the Empire build, we do have Triple Huntsman. Good choice versus the Ogre. Anti-large missiles. Stalks, they can't get shot by lead belchers. Marcus Wolfheart is another good shout out versus the Ogres. Arm-piercing, anti-large missiles. Illuminarch of Hysh to snipe out their Lord and Caster at the same time. A good shot there. Some more wagons, 2 Demigryph Knights with Halberds and Halberdiers. Overall, I like this Imperial build. I would say just get a Life Caster to heal up your Demigryphs, getting the money back from maybe taking some of Marcus's abilities away, or from cutting a Spearman or something. But overall, it's a fine build. It's pretty well constructed for fighting the Ogres. I get all the concepts here. The only thing I worried about when I saw it, I was scared for this Empire build, is there are so many Ogres. This is a huge Ogre build. We have 2 Mournfangs with Iron Fists for some shields, 3 Sabertusk packs, 4 Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists as well, Noblars, 2 Lead Belchers, 3 Noblar Trappers, and Scrag the Slaughterer. It's just bodies, bodies, bodies. And you have so few Imperials to hold them back. War Wagons are going to get caught by the Sabertusk packs. And Sabertusks aren't like normal dogs. It is really hard to walk away from them. They have large mass and they can actually hold you in place. Scrag, however, has not been enjoying the attentions of the Luminarch and Marcus Wolfheart. Lead Belcher's now firing over there, and the Mournfang Cav deep diving onto the Luminarch. Can it fire one more time, or is it on its way out? Marcus Wolfheart throws down a net. I don't think the Luminarch has attack orders right now. The Empire front line's doing okay. Wherever it is in a fight, the Halberdiers are doing well. Problem is there's just so many more Ogres than you have Imperials. They're easily able to flock in the back line. But the Demigryph Knights countercharging and doing good work onto these Mournfangs. Does Scrag have the heal spell? Something just cast. That was a Luminarch shot and it missed Scrag. That might be the last shot the Luminarch gets, so the fact that I missed that one is pretty clutch for the Ogre player. Anyway, he does have healing, so we can maybe help out these Mournfangs that are currently getting iron-fisted. Turn of phrase. And here we go. They are getting some healing, and the Demigryphs are not. There is no heal support for them. Huntsmen are free. Able to start firing back. Lead Belchers are firing in on them, but maybe if they can get over there, they will trade very cost-effectively into those Lead Belchers. Ooh, that's where the other Demigryph is. It's just surrounded in Ogre Bulls and Noblars. Okay, yeah, they're having a shit go of it. Luminarch of Hysh is trying to get away. Now it's decided, fuck that shit. It's just gonna pop a shot off at Scrag. Kill him! Yeah! Big shot. Didn't quite take him down, though. Marcus Wolfheart might have to put the final touches on that one. Some of the Ogres that are routing are rallying and trying to come back to the fight. Demigryphs, how we doing? One's routing, the other one's surprisingly not, but you think it would be. And the Ogre Mournfang Cav is just rolling through the Huntsman. BAM! Scrag takes another gigantic shot, and he is getting a butcher that tries to keep him in this game. But I do think it's too little too late. Even if this Luminarch gets off a final shot and does kill Scrag, I don't think there's enough left in the Imperial pockets to really kill off all of these Ogres. Holy shit, it's going for it. It doesn't give a shit! It doesn't care at all! It's like, I see I'm surrounded by Mournfangs. I raise you a middle finger, and fires off another shot at Scrag, but that butcher did save him from outright death. Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Small as if you've been playing with Penguino, then you probably have plenty of thoughts on the Empire build, so I will leave that to you guys. I think it was a well-constructed build versus the Ogres, like, in theory, but the problem right now with fighting the Ogres is their ability to just bring a mass amount of bodies and overwhelm you. So you either got to go with a really tight formation or match them, like, mass for mass. Maybe 5 Halberdiers, 5 Spearmen. That could be a way to do this. I'm not sure. It's the ROR Luminarch that has the net. True, and he did not take the ROR. Wolfheart didn't get much accomplished, unfortunately, but the Luminarch sure as hell did. Demigryph Knights with Halberds were a good shout-out. They just needed healing support of some kind. Huntsman struggled to really do much because the Ogres just plowed through the front line and got into the back field. Yeah, Be'lakor saying hi to the stream, too. For the Ogres, Morn Fencav did fantastically. Leadbelchers didn't have too much to do. They were there most in case of like a hard, multi-layered spear box or something. Everything else in the Ogre roster did okay. GG's well played to both players. He didn't pick a caster? No. He did not pick a caster. But shit happens, man. I'm just talking to Penguino right now because I was confident because I know he was working on Skaven, so I was like, hey, nice Skaven game, really like the build, really like how you played it. And I was mentioning to him, man, it fucking sucks when you try like when I went into those early tournaments. I was mentioning I lost first round of like every tournament I signed up for when I was brand new. But when I played Skaven, and I played Skaven, it's all I do, and then I go into a tournament and I lose round 1, and like round 1, game 1, I pick Skaven and I lose, and I'm like, fuck. Because this series isn't going to get better for me. And I already lost on the only faction I've practiced. So, I mean, silver lining is practiced on a faction, won on the faction. That's nice. I'm sorry. Be'lakor, I'll go find it. I'll go find it for you, buddy. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. We got to go find Be'lakor. Stream says hi. Okay. We gotta find ourselves another game. Alexander has advanced to fight Fat Kid Actress. It's Fat Kid at Recess, but I just find it funny. For some reason, their opponent ceased to exist. I don't know why that happens sometimes, but... Oh, it was Long. It was Long Boy. Okay. So let's hop in on Alexander and Fat Kid at Recess. That'll be good. Get some more people on the stream. If possible, like, because we could follow King DD, but I don't want to just limit the stream to following the exploits of King DD. I'd rather get as many new faces on it as we can, because some people like being on stream. It's fun. Sometimes they can get advice on their builds and play and stuff, so... Rainy Frog has queued up for a best of 1 practice pit game. If anybody has already dropped out of the tournament and you're looking for more games, Rainy Frog is there for you. Oh, Parasoil might be sniping him. Alright, Longboy is calling me many dastardly insults. That is not nice. That is not nice, okay? Do not do that. Hang on. Thanks for setting it up. Please do more. Happy to help with whatever. What an asshole. No, I'm kidding. It's jokes. It's jokes. Don't hurt me. Let's get into it. So Alexander defeated Longboy, my dark horse for the whole tournament. How did he defeat somebody so long? I have to know. And therefore we'll be doing our studies. Fat Kid at Recess is a frequent on our Discord. He hangs out a lot with the infamous Night Crew. A basket of degenerates, mostly out of the California time zone, who hang out long hours into the night on our server. He is a fine gentleman. And he is a new player. New-ish. New to the community with Game 3, not like, what do my keyboard do? New, but... Like you, Chaz, like you. The Legend of King Dedede. Are the Slaanesh Demon Prince Lords better than the Greater Demon Lords for Slaanesh? I don't think so. I think the Exalted Keeper of Secrets is maybe the second, well, third best Lord that Slaanesh has. I think the Herald is... It depends on the matchup. But if I had to sum total every matchup, I'd say the Herald is probably better than the Keeper of Secrets in general. And Sigvald is probably the best Lord, but if you do take Sigvald, you have to take a caster, so it is quite expensive. But just pound for pound Lord-wise, Sigvald is probably still the best. That's true, John FB. Some of you are from Australia. True story. Not a true story. This was a lie. But I'm going to pretend it's a true story. True story. Last time I played John FB and he lost, it's because a spider the size of his face jumped onto his keyboard and was hitting all the keys. I wondered why his Lord was turning in circles for a bit, but he was busy dealing with that. Because, of course, the Australian that he is, he didn't freak out, he didn't burn his house down, he just kind of, hey, shoot, get out of here, you blimey bastard. Go get yourself a barbecue. Or something. I don't know, man. I just know there was a giant spider, and that's how he lost. And that story is for sure true, not just bullshit I'm making up while the players do their builds. Thanks, Team Boy, for the info on Slaanesh Lords. Yeah. I don't think the Flying Lords are that good because Slaanesh doesn't have a lot to support the Flyers. Like, they don't have anything besides Furies, which are very squishy, and then limited ranged options. But I do think the Exalted Keeper of Secrets is okay. It could use some buffs, but it's not unusably bad. I also think the Herald of Slaanesh could use some buffs, but I don't think she's usably bad. For Slaanesh, I like how the Exalted Keeper of Secrets works. Right now, I like the unit. I like how it performs. I like what it can beat. I like what it can't beat. I like how it can get countered. I really like how the unit feels in the game. The only thing I don't like about it is its price point. Like, I legitimately think they should just make the Keeper of Secrets Lord cheaper. Because I would rather have that Lord, as it currently functions, be cheaper than get it buffs and make it more worth its higher price point. Because when I play Slaanesh, I don't really want to slam around an action figure all day long and try to win the game. I kind of want an army accompanying my demon. That might just be me. But same for the Herald. The Herald is a really good support Lord, has decent combat stats but not amazing, and is fragile if it gets sniped out. Okay, is it cheap? Hell no. That shit's like, I forget offhand, but like 2,200 gold or something if it's on a mount with all of its support abilities that you want. And it's like, all right, well, I feel like I'm taking a cheap support lord, but it's not cheap. So I hope Slaanesh Lords get a bit of cost decreases there, because I really like how they perform, and we really don't need more Kugaths or like, trying to think, Miao Yings out there. And not that Kugath's OP, but it's like his identity is Kugath can sometimes solo carry you a fucking game. And while that's frustrating, it's like, it's neat that that's his niche. I don't want every demonic lord to be like, this one's gonna solo carry the game. No, this one's gonna solo carry the game. No, it's like, no. We have that guy. It's Kugath. He costs 3,500 fucking gold. That's the carry the game guy. That's his thing. Let it be his thing. There's video footage of it. I landed Alberic into your crushers. True. Geeky Chad's picked Nakari every game. Nakari's fun. I don't know what he needs. I would need to do a lot more thinking and a lot more of a deep dive. My opinion on the Exalted Keeper Secrets comes from playing about 10 games with them in the last 2 weeks. So I formed that opinion based off of experience. I literally haven't touched Nakari since before Mortal Empires. So I don't... I don't have an opinion because I haven't taken the time to figure out what Nakari does. I know before Mortal Empires I take Nakari sometimes, and then post Mortal Empires it's like, what's that? He has a heal? When does the heal proc? When a unit dies? Like, totally dies. Every model in it dies? Got it. When the Mortal factions come out, I'm not touching this shit ever again. Oh, good, an Empire Swordsman routed. I need to heal. I'll just kill every single model as it runs off the map. Oh, God. That's just not viable. It's a good power when you're fighting demons or undead, but not, like... not mortal factions, man. Nakari's heal needs to not work that way. But enough about Nakari. What are we doing? What are we doing here? We have Alexander on the undead. We have a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. He is the meta choice with Wind of Death. That is not meta. Invocation of Nehek. And then his combat buffs. So pretty close to the meta choice. The Wind of Death does surprise me a little bit. Oh, he's facing lizards. Okay, maybe it's in case of the Temple Guard box. Maybe. We also have Pit of Shades from a Vampire of Shadows and a Necromancer on his corpse cart with the Forbidden Rod of Stroking and some buffs and healing for his army. Skeleton Spearmen along the back line, Graveguard as well. We have a Blood Knight, Devils of Schwarzhofen, Vargeists, and Zombies. It's a pretty solid Vampire Counts army. I like a lot of elements of it. The only thing I'd be concerned about is if it was a Temple Guard box. I don't see what's going to deal with that outside of the spells. So if that's what he was super worried about, I guess maybe breath attacks, but I don't know. I think he'll do a little bit better versus this more kite heavy. From Fat Kid at Recess, we have triple horned one. Did I see triple? I thought I saw triple in the loading screen. There they are. Triple horned one. A Slann Mage Priest of Fire with Burning Head as his only spell. 5 Skink Skirmishers. We have a Bestowed on Ark of Sotek, another Bestowed on with a Revivification Crystal, and a bunch of Skinks for a front line. Gotcha. Fun fact, despite living in the US, I'm technically adopted Austrian nobility. Don't mean much after World War I. Alright, Burning Head being traded with a Breath Attack, and both of the chaff are feeling a bit of the pain. The Bestowed on Purification Crystal is opting into the fight without much concern. Really, the only things that can damage this big boy are the Blood Dragon Lord or the Vampire of Shadows herself. Maybe the Vargeist if it gets isolated. Holy shit, those are triple gold Chevron Blood Knights. I didn't even notice that. And actually, without Horned Ones nearby, that Slann is getting sniped out. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord pops all of his buffs, giving him over 1k armor-piercing weapon strength, and Horned Ones are going to have to respond quickly. Some of them are busy fighting the Devils of Schwarzhofen. Other ones are sprinting through a tide of skinks trying to get to their lord, but the Slann Mage Priest of Fire already given a Revivification Crystal. Good heal there. Fat Kid at Recess, who is trying to retreat right now, but his Horned Ones get stopped up by the Skeleton Spearmen. They can't get here in time, and the Slann is terror routing. But it is not all bad news for Lizardmen. The Devils of Schwarzhofen went from full health to straight up dead in the clutches of these Horned Ones, and now those Horned Ones have pushed through where their brothers failed them. They will try and save the Slann from the clutches of the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. On the far side, the triple gold chevron Blood Knights Took a little bit of Sotek's poison from the Ark of Sotek, but they are getting decent cycle charges. They're not taking nearly as much damage as the Devils of Schwarzhofen. And this game is value city very quickly, as both sides are already at 2,000 damage value 2 minutes into the game. More Horned Ones piling onto the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. And does his Vampire Sorceress of Shadows have a Pit of Shades to help him out, or is he left on his own? Is she claiming power for herself? You power-hungry bitch! Cast a Pit of Shades, save your master! Or don't, whatever. You do what you want to do. Blood Dragon gets out on his own because he's a strong, independent protagonist, and the Slann Mage Priest of Fire is routing. This could be a problem. Now, Lizardmen have plenty of mobile elements to keep him safe. It's not like he is completely helpless. The only problem would be is if a flying hero followed him off the map instead of attacking him. It takes a shit ton of micro, but if this flying hero just follows him off the ground, it is safe and it will walk him to the edge of the map. Requires a ton of micro though. It looks like the Blood Dragon Lord might take the impatient route and try and just dive him once again, but that will put him at the mercy of these Horned Ones that have taken to the backfield. Pit of Shades catches some skinks. We have a pile of dead skinks. Congratulations on that Pit of Shades. It did a good amount of damage. Blood Knights are harassing all these skirmishers, pushing them back, giving the undead front line some time to work and not get shot at. But the Blood Knights look like they might be returning to the fray. Do they even try to fight the Ark of Sotek? I don't know. Slann is continuing to get pushed off the field by the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Vampire of Shadows is watching over him. Maybe can offer another Pit of Shades, so that is for sure on cooldown after what we just saw over there. So this will leave the Blood Dragon Lord all alone. If he has Helm of Discord, there it is. He can lower their melee stats rather significantly. And a rear charge from the Shadows caster might do okay, but the third Horned One is back here. This could get real spicy real fast. And the vampires did not bring their zombie summons, so there's no free, easy chaff for them. And the Slann Mage Priest is going to rally. He's got farthest away, so good job from the Lizardmen securing their backfield, saving their Lord, and getting him back in the fight. He can throw down a Shield of the Old Ones or something to support his Horned Ones that are taking a lot of damage in this fight. It was a good save onto the Slann, for sure the right decision, but it was a costly one, and that was almost costly. Fat Kid at Recess thinking about throwing down a banishment in his own Horned Ones, but he does cancel it with a Shield of the Old Ones. Nice stuff there, and he throws out a Burning Head into the oncoming Blood Knights, who are just trying to snipe him out. So it's a very intense fight for supremacy in the backfield. As these Horned Ones are tearing apart the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, the Blood Knights have to decide between sniping out the Slann or saving their Lord, and it looks like, I'm not sure who they actually opted into, but they are in this fight regardless. We have another banishment canceled. Again, Fat Kid at Recess is really playing with fire with that one, keeps trying to summon it on his own Horned Ones like he owns the goddamn place. Now, Blood Dragon Vampire Lord has taken a lot of damage, but he is a vampire. There's a lot of healing available to him if he can get up into the sky. The Blood Knights are also taking a ton of damage, and there is that banishment. Is it going to actually cast this time, or are you going to cancel it again and blue ball me? There is the cast. It tears through the Blood Knights, even circles back into the Spearman a little bit, and that is a big play for the Lizardmen, who start to take the lead a little bit on the balance of power. Some Horned Ones are terror routing off, the other ones with cold-blooded and plenty of health will continue to chase. The Slann is left alone with the Vampiress and the Blood Knights, though. This could be a Lord for Lord trade as the Blood Dragon Lord continues to try and get away, continues to try and get some space. But actually, these Blood Knights are pursuing deep into hostile territory to chase down these Horned Ones. Elsewhere, the Skeletons and Graveguard and Zombies, etc., are all continuing to do battle against Skinks. That is pretty easy to ignore for the most part. The undead frontline is not something to be particularly scared of. Blood Knights fighting next to their Lord, who is currently not doing anything. I don't know why he isn't attacking in any form. There we go. He woke up. Don't know what that was. I think he probably had an attack order onto something he couldn't technically reach, so then he just stood around like a dumbass. That does tend to happen, though it is very annoying. Invocation to Heck is going to heal cap this big boy. And what can this Sorceress of Shadows do? Does she have a Pit of Shades in the back pocket, or is she just going to rear charge or something? Because if you can take out these Horned Ones, maybe you can still bring this game back. There's the rear charge. Blood Dragon Lord's barely hanging on to leadership so he doesn't start crumbling, but here go the Horned Ones. 1 breaks, 2 breaks. No way you guys didn't fucking break. I saw your leadership was negative for like 35 years. You are breaking. Get out of here. Get out of here with that shit. Oh, we have infinite leadership nonsense. Fuck you, dude. You don't have infinite leadership. You don't got shit. Invocation Heck onto the Vampiress of Shadows, who's continuing to fight. The Horned Ones stay in combat way longer than I would have suspected, and the rear charge in from the Ark of Sotek takes a little bit of damage off the Shadows caster. Blood Dragon Lord continues to fight. But elsewhere, somehow the skinks actually cleaned house on all the skeletons, probably burning heads that I didn't see happening. And the Blood Dragon Lord will just FF before he has to die. That was a pretty good game. That was a pretty good game, Alexander. You did good. You did good fighting the fat kid at recess. Obviously, still more of the best of 3 to go. I'm just saying. For a face I have literally never seen versus a face that I have seen, generally I tend to vote for the face that I've seen. And that ended up being a much closer game than I would have expected. So we'll see if he can bring it back. Horned One's doing great. Just doing fantastically. The Salon of Fire did okay. Revivification Crystal gave some support to the Salon and to the Horned Ones. So those guys were the real heroes of the hour. The Skink Skirmishers did fine. Skink Cohorts did fine as well. But most of the show was these Horned Ones. On the other side, the Blood Dragon Lord tried to carry. Couldn't quite finish off sniping that Salon. The Triple Gold Chevron Blood Knights honestly did okay. Pit of Shades Caster also did just fine. The Vargeists, unfortunately, did take a fight with the Horned Ones early and got knocked out. The Skeleton and Zombie frontline didn't do too much. I have been shying away when I play Vampire counts. I've been shying away from as much of my frontline as possible. I maybe take like 3 zombies, 2 skeletons, or 3 zombies, 2 Graveguard, or something like that. But I feel like the mass skeleton days are just gone. They don't feel like they do anything. I tend to prefer more knights, more dogs. Imagine if there's been a life Salon. Don't you put that evil on us, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on us. All right, Rainy Frog is still in the best of 1 practice pit, and no one will fight him, and it makes me the saddest I've ever been. So if you don't want a sad hummus, go fight Rain Frog. All right, make right face. I'm not going to read all that out loud, but I am reading it. What up, Tian? How you doing, man? I hope you are well. As far as you know, your boots are still out there. Damn. You reminded me of the horse from the Neverending Story, and now I'm sad. I never watched the Neverending Story, and I don't want you to be sad, so stop it. Stop being sad. I have finished my drink, and now I am sad because I only have water. No more vodka and cranberry juice for old hummus. I got distracted by messages. I got distracted. What's going on? Go, standing desk. Is Chariot type lords bad these days, like Ron the Paunch? They aren't the best, because Chariot splash damage isn't what it should be. But Papa Palpatine makes Kazaric work quite a lot. And I think Rom's still okay. For the Greenskins, he's just not ideal. But he's okay. His ITP, his buffs and stuff are still decidedly fine. I just really like Wurzeg. I love Wurzeg. I love his buffs. I love everything about him. Wurzeg's great. I know Azhag, like, if Wurzeg didn't exist, Azhag's a really solid lord right now. Goblin Spider Shaman's okay in a matchup where you know there's like a big thing that you can fight for a bit. I think he's a little on the pricey end, but he's okay. Goblin Big Boss is a niche support lord, but in his niches, he's actually pretty good. I'd probably take any of those people over Grom personally, just because I like what they provide. But Grom's fine. He's fine. Artax succumbed to despair and sanctioned lead. Oh. Oh. Makes me sad. Looks like we have High Elves Tom Kongs. The Bony Boys versus the Pointy Boys. Or is like the best until Spirit Leech appears? True. Gregory Castens, $5. What Warhammer race would compare to our state, Minnesota, in regards to climate and culture? Oh, boy. All right, let me think. Oh, shit. No, it's not quite that. I was going to say we might be gnomes. Is it gnomes? No, it's halflings. We might be halflings. Let me think on it. But for anybody who doesn't know why I'd make that comparison, halflings live in the moot. They live most of their lives to cook delicious potlucks and have parties. And when they're not currently partying, they are farming or trying to plan the next party. Or like their lives revolve around like farm festivals, which my upbringing, I had, my dad's side was a really farm heavy family. My mom's side, my grandma was farm heavy, but then most of her kids didn't do it. So, you know, I had a lot of farm culture when I was growing up, and like that sounds quite Minnesotan to me. So we might be halflings, but give me a second. Because here's the only thing that we don't do with halflings is halflings are shits. Like halflings are utter shits, and that is not Minnesota. And that's the only reason I can't confidently say halflings is because, like, I don't know, Imperials trust a halfling about as far as you can throw them, and they're usually right. Like halflings are usually looking to rob and or stab you, which is just not Minnesota. One of the Norscan tribes in the Dark Elf territory? Oh god, maybe. But like you need somewhere friendly, so it's probably an Order faction. That's my problem. Is Minnesota is very, very friendly, so you need an Order faction. Oh, wait, we're Stirland. Yeah, we're just Stirland. So I know Empire is the boring answer, but we're Stirland in the Empire. Stirland is very, very hunting focused, farming focused. They don't have too crazy much industry going on. And they also don't concern themselves too much with the Empire's affairs because they're generally central. And they have the moot between them and the vampires. So vampires occasionally come in and steal some people or kill them. But usually the Elector Count of Stirland just shrugs and says, "Must have been beastmen." And when people are like, "We saw a vampire," he's like, "Must have been beastmen," and stop asking questions. That sounds like Minnesota to me. Just like hunting, farming, fishing, enjoying your life. And when bad things happen around the greater country you're a part of, you generally just go, doesn't bother me none, and keep doing your own thing. So we're a mix of halflings in the Empire. You boil your beer. Kislev is pretty friendly. Yeah, but Kislev's like the bulwark against the evils of the demonic wastes, and I personally don't see Minnesota as being very like bulwark. I don't know. We're definitely more like diplomacy and agriculture focused would be what I would describe Minnesota. So I had to think of something for that. Kislev is Ukraine. Yeah, Kislev's kind of the whole Russia-Ukraine gambit there. Any of that northeastern culture. Kislev winter, though, definitely fits. Oh, yeah, our winters are brutal. You got me there. I would say Norden, because it's right next to Norska. It's an imperial province next to Norska, but, like, Norden is pretty much just Norska Part 2, slightly more civilized edition. And again, we're not that. The Minnesotans I know aren't an overly violent people. And I'm not talking about, like, I mean, obviously, compared to the Warhammer universe, the entire world is a peaceful place in our real life. But even transitioning it down, like, Minnesota gets compared to Canada a lot for being like, oh, don't you know, we're so friendly, you know, we just want to have a potluck and a supper. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that tracks from my experience. That's my family in a nutshell. So yeah. The fun answer would be we're halflings. The probably more accurate answer is we're Sterling. Okie dokie, what do we have here? I was busy babbling. I missed the entire thing. It's Empire, not Empire. The Tomb Kings versus High Elves. Don't know why I thought that was Empire over there. Karl Franz be looking different these days. 2 skeleton horse archers for Alexander. Some Nehekara horsemen. 2 screaming skull catapults. 2 plus some skeleton spearmen. A front line of 2 tomb guard. A tomb prince on a chariot. Bold. We also have Cetra on a chariot. Bold again. Chosen the Gods who shop to great bows is a pretty good shout out there. The other side for the High Elves, a fat kid at recess. Illyrian Reavers, who are kind of getting led around by the nose by these skirmish cav, get sidecharged by the Nehekara horsemen. Very nice play here on the far side for Alexander. I liked that a lot. Aside from that, we have 4 Lothern Sea Guard, 2 archers, so a lot of pew-pew, some Silver Helms mixed in with the Illyrian Reavers, and spearmen for a front line, with Teclis, mighty Teclis in the sky, Flock of Doom, Net of Amratok, and his bound Fiery Convocation, so no regrowths for him. And what is happening? Is that Fiery Convocation going on the Chosen of the Gods? Because it does not do a lot of damage to them, Mr. Recess. No! It'll tickle the Skeleton Spearman a little bit, but definitely a little bit of a whoopsie. Just that type of spell doesn't do that much damage to that type of unit. Cetra is back here. He has the Syrian's Incantation of Vengeance, and he does cast it onto the Silver Helms, doing some decent damage to them while he continues to battle his way through their lines. They are blinded right now, taking their melee attack down to 12. Wow. That's brutal, because they also have Martial Prowess active right now, and still their melee stats are getting tanked that hard. Screaming Skull Catapults continuing to fire. They're just trying to stay out of range until those High Elf archers get up here. Then they can punish them rather swiftly. And hold on, those are Sisters of Avalorn. There's the Sisters of Avalorn here. I didn't see that. Okay, there's 2 regular archers, and then there's a Sisters. Cetra does push off the Silver Helms while spears try to surround him. He is netted right now. He can't move, but the Screaming Skull Catapults firing at these clumped up spears are going to get good value if they ever land a decent shot. Thankfully for the High Elves, Screaming Skull Catapults, like most catapults, can't hit the broadside of a barn, but they did get 1 hit in their leadership debuffs, push off those High Elves. Tomb Kings are ascendant on the balance of power. Sisters of Avalorn shooting at the Chosen of the Gods as the catapults, it looks like they don't have guard mode on, so they are moving forward, or they got a movement order. Don't know. Either way, something terrible happened, and now the catapults are within range of the archers, so I expect to see them die very soon. And this, like we say with a lot of Skaven games or Cathay games or whatever, the balance of power is very, very in the favor of the shooty faction until the other army gets in range to start shooting back. Because once this catapult dies, which it will soon, once these Chosen the Gods die, which they will soon, that balance of power is going to come way back towards the High Elves. And we just need to see if they got far enough ahead at the start, or if they didn't get enough damage out. Teclis doing a good job. He realizes the only 2 threats to him really are the Tomb Prince and Cetra, who are nowhere nearby, so he can dive in with impunity, harass these Chosen of the Gods, get some good damage out, and he's going to do just fine. He doesn't care about that too much. I would like to see some of these Lothern Sea Guard start offering their fire onto the Screaming Skull Catapults. It's more effective than the Chosen of the Gods. The Chosen of the Gods is okay, but Teclis is dealing with them, and you really got to stop these catapults, because them paired up with Cetra are decimating your back line really hard. So I do want to see the Lothern Sea Guard turn and shoot. It looks like they have now, so those catapults will soon be taken off the field. Where is Teclis going? Finish off the Chosen Gods. Teclis. Okay, he wanted to net down Cetra, so he'll probably turn now and go back towards those Chosen of the Gods, but he does need to stop them from firing ever again. Lothern Sea Guard still getting mucked up. There is a catapult back here left alone. These Illyrian Reavers can maybe loop around and get it real quick. Teclis is going to land on the Screaming Skull catapults and even throws out a Fiery Convocation. Does the Tomb King's player notice it's happening? Looks like it gets canceled instead for a Flock of Doom as the High Elf Spears and arrows continue to shoot, etc. But I think this is a little bit of a bait. I think the High Elves do need to focus a little bit more heavily onto punishing these catapults and finishing the Chosen of the Gods rather than shooting at Cetra, who can heal himself, who is a small character, is pretty cagey. Teclis finishes off one of the catapults. Sisters of Avalorn continuing to shoot at him. Chosen of the Gods will fire Teclis, but he has 2 uses left of the Potion of Koroi. Can give him some damage resistance and some healing, so he'll be okay-ish. Lothern Seaguard opting back into the fight. Now the Tomb Prince and Cetra can't afford to stay in the fight for too long. High Elves do have a ton of spearmen, which are great against chariots, and they are some of the best spearmen for their cost in the game. High melee stats on those High Elves. Excuse me. Screaming Skull catapults have got to be shut down if these guys want to have any chance of coming back, because you can see they have the take cover -8 leadership debuff, and then they have another leadership debuff for being shot by artillery. Yeah. So they lose -18 leadership whenever that Screaming Skull fires at them. It has to be stopped. But Cetra and his Tomb Prince and the infantry screening has now made it extremely difficult for the High Elves to actually get within range at all of the catapult, which is still firing on them. Teclis has been struggling with the Chosen of the Gods. It looks like he has opted out of fighting them for now, and the High Elf balance of power is getting danger low. Close to army losses as these Illyrian Reavers try to charge in, but they are smoothly intercepted by these Skeleton Spearmen, and it looks like Alexander was rather comfortable on this Tomb King's pick. Really felt like he knew what his units needed to do at any point in time. So very effectively played by him. I liked it a lot. Another net onto Cetra the Imperishable. As Teclis tries to salvage the situation, it looks like he did get some healing, so he must have used the Potion of Koroi while I wasn't looking. Yes, he did. And the Sisters of Avalorn plus the archers shooting at the net, etc. Looks like we are all in on the snipe attempt from Teclis. He is just trying to get anything done now, but for the moment he is stuck in Skeleton Spearman next to the Tomb Prince. He's not attacking. He still has orders onto Cetra, but he's just struggling to get it done. Getting pulled away from the Chosen of the Gods and the catapult. Maybe the High Elves like taking this fight way out here, but I think army losses is going to hit them before they can get too much done, as an Usirian's Incantation of Vengeance is going to damage these Lothern Sea Guard. And the High Elves are staring down the barrel of a nasty army losses right about now. Teclis needs to use his last cast of the Potion of Koroi as soon as it's off cooldown, just to hold off army losses, because that's his worst enemy right now for the High Elves, is just the game telling you the fight's over before it's actually over. He is going to put a net onto the Tomb Prince. They're probably going to try to focus fire him. Teclis might even dive down. I really need to see that Potion of Koroi. Again, it might be on cooldown, but I'm just like hoping he knows he needs to spam that as soon as it's off cooldown. There it is. Because that healing on your Caster Lord, who's so expensive, will really help the balance of power. But never mind, he just forfeits anyway, regardless. Work in a grocery store. That Christmas week winter storm was rough. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what part of the state you're in, but down in Rochester, we had a tough winter. It wasn't the worst winter I've ever experienced, but it was in like the top 3. It was so cold. We had the wind chills near like -40 degrees for almost a whole week at one point, which is really unusual for this area. Because when I was in Duluth for college, now those were some fierce winters up there, but yeah, it sounds like I was talking to someone who is going to college up there right now, and apparently they had just a crazy year for snow, like 2 or 3 feet. Well, maybe even more. I think he said at one point 10 feet, but I can't verify that. For the archers, they did okay. The Sisters of Avalorn particularly did well, but most of them just got pushed back over and over and over again. Cetra the Imperishable did very well. His Tomb Prince was also quite disruptive. Chosen of the Gods 3,000 value. Screaming Skull catapults also performing nicely. The Tomb Guard, the Skeleton Horsemen did okay, and the Skeleton Spears just died. But very well played there from Alexander. And he's played 2 Undead factions. I wonder if game 3 he goes for Vampire Coast. All right, they're doing Pixabands. I'm typing to some people who ask me questions about things. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. I feel bad for Rainy Frog. Not able to find an opponent in best of 1 chat. We are trying to increase the new player community to avoid that problem, but it still breaks my little rat heart. So Rainy Frog, if you're out there, I appreciate you. Even if nobody else does. Oh. We're opening a window because it's hot in here. Looks like we have Empire Dark Elves. Alright. What college did you go to? I went to University of Minnesota Duluth. I did go to UMD. I enjoyed it. I liked UMD. It wasn't my favorite, it wasn't my favorite school for any particular reason. It's just I thought Duluth would be a nice city to go up to. And I grew up in Mankato. Not a small town, but not a big city. So when I was going to college, I really didn't want to go to the Twin Cities and get this big, culture shock and all this shit. So I went to Duluth because it felt a little bit more like home. And I loved the bike paths up there. Did a lot of biking on the North Shore. RA Unleashed with the $27. This is for the content you provided this weekend while I was at work. Amazing content. Thanks, man. I hope you enjoyed it. We've been trying to put out some good stuff. Just trying to make people not give up on the game. Doing our best. Because it is a fun game. Some kind of dumb stuff can happen to you in both game modes or even campaign, but it sucks if the community died off because this is one of the most dynamic RTS games I've ever played. So I really enjoy it. There's always something new to learn, and I hope to some people that's daunting, but to me that's what's fun about it. I played League of Legends competitively for about 6 years. And competitively, I don't mean I was an LCS pro. I meant that was the game I went to sweat my brains out for 8 hours a day if I had the time. And if you win, you jump out of your chair and you're like, fuck yeah, I did that. And if you lost, you were like, shit, god damn it. And you couldn't sleep at night because of how badly you fucked up. I did that for 6 years. And the reason that was interesting is they kept releasing new characters and new items. Then I joined Warhammer. Because, yeah, I don't know. I used to play a lot of other strategy games, but I couldn't play them online very much because they felt solved. And it was either play the thing that is good or lose. And at least Warhammer, there are frequent patches. I wish the patches were faster, sure, but if you compare it to other RTS games, there's actually a lot of patches. It's not as many patches as Overwatch or League of Legends, but it's more than like Age of Empires gets. I mean, it's pretty frequently updated. But yeah, that was a complete side point from thank you for the donation. That is very, very, very generous of you. I'm bad at expressing thanks, but I'm doing my best. Fat Kid at Recess says he is cosplaying as Victor Saltzpyre. So we got some Vermintide action going on. Is it better to do Plague Toads over Infantry or Chaos Mod over Infantry? Cool Umbrella would be the man to answer that one. And he is in the chat. He is an infinitely better Nurgle player than I could ever hope to be. What do we got? What do we got? What's going on? Who's around me right now? Let's do the Dark Elves. For the Dark Elves, we have 5 Dread Spears, one of which is the Hellebroni. We have the Raven's Herald repeater crossbows up in the sky, and another repeater crossbow on the ground. Triple Cold One Knights, a Khainate Assassin with Web of Shadows and Assassin's Trophy. We have the Death Hag on the fucking Cauldron of Blood. That is a thing that is happening here. I am alarmed, I am scared, I am confused, but I'm here for it. We also have Malekith. Okay, so if you ignore this unit, the rest of this army, generally pretty meta. Maybe I would like some Dark Riders in here to harass Imperials that you push off, or to chase around Skirmish Cav. If you include her, I don't really know what to think. She's ready to boss up the melee fight in the front line and do good there, and I hope her the best. I hope she doesn't just get shot to death. On the other side, for the Empire, we do have Triple Empire Knight, 2 Outriders, the handgun variant, not the grenade launchers, not the pistoliers. We have a front line of halberds and spears. We have Victor Saltzpyre, according to Fat Kid at Recess, the Vermintide 2 character. He is the Warrior Priest. He has Crown of Command, Grand Hammer Sigmar, and Grand Shield of Faith. Then we have a Jade Wizard with Earthblood and a Regrowth. And of course, the Sunmaker, the perpetual Empire ROR since Game 3's release, made this thing kind of cracked as fuck. So we'll see how it goes. Decent first volley, taking about 1/3 HP off the Hellebroni, closer to half HP, I guess. And Malekith and the Cold Knights are chasing the Outriders. Now, Outriders are, as you can see, a directional skirmish cav. They can fire while moving, but they can only fire while moving ahead of them. So, as long as they're under pressure from these Cold Knights, they are going to have a tough time. And they are trying to get away from these guys. They are getting run down somehow. They are faster, but charge bonus is a hell of a drug, and a huge breath attack from Malekith is making those other guys regret it. Empire Knights will have to be committed to this fight to save them. That is unfortunate, though, because Cold Knights would love to fight your Empire Knights. That would be their favorite thing to do ever. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Oh, there's handgunners. I don't know how I missed that, but there's 2 handgunners, and they're currently trying to punish Malekith a little bit. So the Dark Elf army continues to advance while under assault by the Sunmaker. But the Dark Elves have done pretty well at pushing off these Outriders. Now they get a little bit of Revenge of the Sith as the Outriders and Handgunners are shooting down on them. Empire Knights are committing increasingly to the fight. The big Soul Stealer is going to hit like 5 units and heal up Malekith, so that is pretty solid, but losing the Cold Knight is going to hurt. More Cold Knights wrapping around the far side. They're okay. I think the Dark Elves shouldn't overcommit their skirmish assets, and it looks like they're not. Nice job pulling back those Dark Rider repeaters is very good. As long as your skirmish elements don't get shot up too much, your front line is about to make it into the fight soon. I wonder if Malekith just dives here. Yeah, he might. Okay, that's a solid play. Because you have 2 Dark Rider repeater crossbows, one of which is just the flying one, but they're still a repeater crossbow, to punish these Empire Knights. Malekith's not really afraid of Empire Knights, so you can just try to blob them up on him and get him shot. Now, fortunately, Fat Kid at Recess doesn't fall for the bait. He is just going to go attack Dread Spears, which still isn't a great fight for the Empire Knights, but it's better than sitting on Malekith and getting murdered by repeater crossbows. The Death Hag is here, and I imagine handgunners will be shooting at her very soon, but so far they aren't, and actually that could get concerning. If she isn't instantly lit up by the handguns, which would be her biggest weakness, if she actually gets into the back line and just keeps fighting stuff, she's going to have the time of her life. Colden Knights getting caught on Halberdiers is a tragedy, but these other Colden Knights are bodying an Imperial Knight, and then they could have free access to the backline. Malekith is getting shot by all of these handguns, though. He has to be very careful, and it looks like the Dark Elf player's Micro is a little distracted. He's throwing down a Soul Stealer over on this blob, and that is a nice Soul Stealer, though. You took a lot of damage to get it off, my friend, and a quick casted Gaze of Malice does go a little wide, unfortunately, and now this still leaves Malekith at the mercy of Outriders and handguns. He is taking a lot of damage for this. These Colden Knights need to finish up their fight with the Empire Knights, and they need to get back here. They need to start doing some disruption, because Malekith can't be left to do it all on his own. Saltspire is getting his ass handed to him by the Death Hag, as an assassin throws in Assassin's Trophy to help out a little bit, but that is it. Honestly, these Dark Rider Peter Crossbows, as much as it sucks, they might have to go into melee with those handgunners, because they just got to bail Malekith out. This is a terrible time for him. On the backfield, Empire Knight's getting shot by these Dark Rider Peter Crossbows, still doing good work over there. Malekith can, of course, heal up, so he is... If you're going to make a mistake on a unit, weirdly enough, Malekith is the best unit to make a mistake on. The Hellstorm Rocket Battery tries to friendly fire its own troops while also killing Colden Knights in its best Skaven cosplay that you've ever seen, but Saltspire gets his ass kicked by the Death Hag. She just murdered that poor man. She's not even going to finish him off. She's just leaving. She's just leaving him to the wolves. Meanwhile, one Imperial Knight is pushed off. The other one is just going to take Dark Riders till the end of its days as an assassin continues to throw little shurikens at Saltspire. Of course, by Saltspire, I'm just referring to the Archlector, who the player told me he is cosplaying the Vermintide 2 character. Another big Soul Stealer is hitting a lot of infantry. While that isn't Soul Stealer's like best target, I mean, if you can get clumps like this, it's usually worth it. I wonder if Malekith goes for a breath attack here. That would be pretty great versus all of these clumped up units. It looks like he might be setting it up. Oh, don't do this to me. Yeah, get it. I was worried he's going to line up for one and then just not take the opportunity. That's a big breath attack, Batman. And they're all going to break. Oh, that was gorgeous. Colden Knights did finish off the Empire Knights on the backfield, and they are now here. Now, the Raven's Herald took a lot of damage for their sins, but they saved Malekith, all that effort, and they were honestly going through a lot of their ammunition anyway, so their usefulness as a unit was coming near its end. I did like the suicide onto the handgunners to just save your other big single entities all of their health. I really did like that. Saltspire's continuing to fight until the very last, but an Assassin's Trophy, surrounded by Dread Spears, and a Canadian Assassin diving in on him is too much for the poor little man, and he will retreat. Bounce power shifts significantly against the forces of the Empire as even the Sunmaker is pushed off, and it is all Dark Elves all day, and Alexander will be moving on. How do we handle Rubrics? My opponent brought double cultists again. Oh, Sakura. Gotcha. If he won with the double cultist, you have two options, and both are completely viable. You can say we should do a replay. You remove one of the cultists, or take the Gate of Nurgle off of one of the cultists, and then spend the money on chevrons. Or if you're just vibing, you don't really care, you can just tell him that, hey, by the way, you can't take double summons, but let's just move on. Or if you won the game and he had double summons, then tell him it was illegal, but move on. Those are your three options. So if you lost, you can either contest it or just say, I don't give a shit, but so you know. Or you could, if you won, just tell him, but don't replay it if you won. Sound good? Sound good. Ugh. Because he can bring double cults, it's just not double summon. It's the Nordland flag. It's true. Yeah, it's just the double summon that's legal. So did you bring double summon? Yeah. I will encourage everybody who's getting involved with this, though. This is a new player tournament. So, like, don't be dicks. Like, that's a pretty niche fucking rule that we implemented relatively recently, like, at the start of Immortal Empires. That's not a rule on Quick Battle, so if any of my mods handle that, or if Sakura handles that, like, however you handle it, be chill. Be chill. Don't, How could you not fucking know that? It's so obvious. It's on page 7 of the rules. So, it's all just be cool. It's not like it's most likely not an intentional rules break. I'm like white line camping, draw cutting, or being void. Yeah. All right. We have Alexander versus Ideologue. Check on the bracket right now. Boojilicious did advance to the semifinal. We have Alexander versus Ideologue on the top side. Losaurus and King Dedede are fighting on the bottom side right now. We will cast Alexander and Ideologue live. Boojilicious, if you're still in the chat, I will also type to you. But whenever you get an opponent, start as soon as you get your opponent. Do not wait for me. Send me replays of all the games. Boojilicious, I am assigning you to send me replays, win or lose, so that we don't know the outcome of the series. And finals, I will go down from this semifinal and cast that semifinal while the finals gets underway, and then I will start casting the finals replays as they are sent to me. So, yeah. Sound good? Sounds great. Thanks, me. I did good. Okay. I will respond to this. Spec slot so I can cast, please. And then I will message Booj and make sure that even if he's not listening to the stream, that he knows what is expected of him. Or lose. I will cast them after this top semi-final. Do not wait for stream. Ideologue kit good, bro. All right, all right. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Human Boy Noob Tourney. That lobby looks familiar. That might be... That might be Penguinos. Okay, the password's 12345, so I could try that. Oh, fuck balls. I don't have a blocker. My bad. My bad, everybody. So here we are with Ideologue. Haven't gotten to catch them on stream today or ever. This is my first seeing them. Though after seeing Alexander, he certainly feels like a tournament contender. He's pretty solid. Like, watching those games, he kind of has... I don't know. There's a lot of types of new players. But he's one of those new players that, like, watching his micro is really good. Really, really good. I think I also played a bit with Parasoil, who's not in this tournament, but, like, he's in our Discord. Their micro's really good. But their builds are a bit off. Like, I'm not really sold on the efficacy of those builds and, like, the efficiency of those builds. But his micro's really good. And that can probably carry him through a tournament like this. Now, I haven't seen Ideologue. Maybe he's really good, too. My early bets would be on Alexander here, just because he surprised me with really solid plays. And it's not, when I'm saying that, I don't mean like, your builds are fucking atrocious. It's like, there's some stuff I would shore up. I don't love, in the Tomb Kings game, I don't love the Chariot Tomb Prince. I don't think it's worth it. That's just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, that's fine. I don't think it's worth it. I don't know if the Tomb Guard were worth it versus High Elves, because their increased melee stats aren't going to help you get through the High Elf front line in melee. So you could just have some Skeleton Spearmen and cut the Chariot Tomb Kings guy. If you really want a Chariot just to disrupt archers, you can just get Skeleton Chariots for much cheaper. Or you could get a Necrotecton Chariot, which I generally prefer because of his Vambrances of something, and it's like he has a constant debuff or something. But like, there's little things. But when you watch that same Tomb Kings game, right, there was that really sick play that I liked a lot that happened right away, where he took 2 skirmish cav against these Illyrian Reavers, was shooting at him. When the Illyrian Reavers wanted to attack him, he ran into opposite directions. So already, that's good play number 1, is he didn't stay together, which is a mistake that I still do all the fucking time. But keep your skirmish stuff together so that, like, when the Illyrian Reaver catches one, it catches both, and they don't really get good shots, all that stuff. He separated them, which was really good. And then, the extra good is he sends the Nehekar Horseman up the center, so when the Illyrian Reaver picks either one of the skirmish cav to chase and continues chasing him, he gets side charged by the Nehekar Horseman. That's just a really fantastic executed play that felt planned. And if it was an accident, then it was a happy accident, but it looked really, really well planned. And that's the kind of stuff where I'm talking about of like, oh, okay, so this guy's going to be good. Where do we send the replays? You can DM them to me. You saw Dowie? Dowie? Hi. I think Yasad was just joking. I sort of want to get Hunter and the Beast just for War Wagons. War Wagons are silly. My first stream of his ever, so I have no idea what's going on. The Cat with Whiskers, are you talking about my stream? This is the first of my streams you've ever been on? Or what's the context? What's going on? Oh shit, Ideologue went Dwarves. Versus Tomb Kings. I heard some tournaments are not allowing Chaos Dwarves to be played, something about them being too OP broken or something. BBB Season 1 didn't allow Chaos Dwarves because they were released mid-tournament and it would like alter the meta too much, so they didn't want that in their thing. What the hell are you? Parasomia. Alright. Stream over. Why? Oh, dwarves. And Dom, CD are banned more often. Yeah, and Domination... In Domination, I am not a Domination pro. In any regard. So take everything I say with a giant grain of salt on Domination. It seems to me from talking to Dom tournament hosts that in Domination there are certain factions that are just completely problematic for the game mode. So they tend to ban them outright from the entire tournament. Like Slaanesh before the nerfs was just too good at what you needed to do in the game mode, so a lot of people were banning them for the sake of the tournament. And oh, for anybody wondering about dwarves, Gotrek and Felix are banned for this tournament, by the way. Just a heads up. I'll explain that in a second. Yeah. So same with Chaos Dwarves. I know Turin's been talking about it a bit, but the Laborers, the 150 Laborers have the capture weight of like a normal unit, which is just that's not kosher. So I know Domination tournaments tend to ban stuff outright and just get it over with. Speaking of Gotrek and Felix, yeah. So Gotrek and Felix, for anybody who's about to extrapolate really far, Gotrek and Felix is not banned from the Vermin League ladder. It's not banned from all my tournaments. It's not banned from everything. It's fine. It was just two things. One, when you host a tournament, you get to say some things, and I hate casting Gotrek and Felix. I hate it. It's boring as hell. I hate it. So then for a new player tournament, for fun, for no prize, I was like, fuck it. I'm getting him out of here because I don't like him. Two, Gotrek and Felix at higher levels of play aren't that strong. They're annoying, but they're not that strong at high levels of play because you have really solid game fundamentals and you have really solid build preparation. But in new player tournaments, they can be really oppressive if people don't know exactly how to deal with single entity hero hammers, if you don't know how to not blob effectively, like, you know, because an early mistake to make is like send a ton of units to do the same task. And with a hero hammer, you really want to send one thing at a time and pick them off with spells and archers and stuff. And it's just like, it is beatable, but it requires a lot of micro that you might not find in a new player tournament. And the benefit just isn't there. It's not like, but it's worth the risk because it's fun in this way. It's like, no, it's just boring and sucks, so I'm not going to have it in a new player tournament. Fuck that noise. So, yeah. Anyway, there's my defense of banning Gotrek and Felix for this tournament. If you have a problem with it, my DMs are open. Fiends of Slaanesh should have terror when they recharge. Should they, though? That would be kind of interesting. If you're Devastating Flanker. You know how the Dark Elves have martial prowess? I mean, murderous prowess and murderous mastery? It'd be interesting if you had Devastating Flanker and then, like, Extermination Flanker. And if you have that upgraded ability, it's like, if you recharge someone, you get terror. I think it'd be kind of fun. All right. What do we have here? Alexander, we just watched him a bit. Seems like he rather enjoys his undead. We have the Eyes of the Desert Sepulchral Stalkers, 2 Ushapti Great Bows, one of which is the Chosen of the Gods, 2 Screaming Skull Catapults, Cetra, a bunch of Skeleton Spearmen, 1 melee Ushapti, and his faithful Tomb Prince, though this time on a horse, not on a chariot. On the other side, for the Dwarves, we have some Rangers, 5 Miners with Blasting Charges spread throughout this area, Dwarf Warriors across the front line, 1 Iron Drake, the Fire variant, 2 Cannons, 2 Slayers, and Thoric Ironbrow. Nice. I have to favor the Dwarves here build-wise. We'll obviously see what the players do, but complete build-wise, I think the Dwarves are favored. They are generally favored in this matchup because foot heroes are so hard to deal with, but also their armored infantry can be rather hard for the Tomb Kings to clear out. And Miners with Blasting Charges can clear out a lot of skeletons rather swiftly, leaving the Tomb Kings without much chaff support, so their monsters get dragged down by just sheer weight of bodies. But it's not a foregone conclusion. It's not like an unwinnable matchup. It's just usually tough for the old bones. Scream Skull Catapults, hassling the Miners a little bit, while Cannons have a plethora of targets. They need to probably shoot at these Ushapti Great Bows, but they also need to be shooting at the Scream Skull Catapults, so I don't envy that choice. Looks like the Dwarves will just be advancing as quickly as possible with their little Dwarven legs to try and keep the Ushapti out of range of the Cannons, but they are in range now. That could be a tough time for the little Cannons. So the Dwarves are going to want to get as much of their infantry involved in melee combat as soon as possible, because that's where a lot of your advantage lies. Like, look at all of these infantry versus 4 Skeleton Spearmen. You want to get up there, you want to get active, because the shooting game isn't going to go to you. As we can see, we have the Ushapti and the Screaming Skull Catapults teeing off right now, and the Cannons aren't enjoying it. Cetra's rolling dirty through some Rangers. Killing them. Killing them! Go, Cetra, go. And on the other side, Melee Ushabti plus the Sporkle Stalkers chewing up some Rangers. The two Dwarven Bowman units have been identified by the Tomb Kings. It looks like they're trying to take them out. Cetra, where are you going, my friend? Are you going to take a duel with Thoric Ironbrow? My god, he is. He pops the Blessed Blade of Petra, but that actually just lets Thoric use his 10% fire resist, so a little bit of rip there. Scream Skull catapults continue to harass the dwarves, and the Tomb Prince has taken over in the role of stopping those Rangers from ever firing. But here's the problem we noted. 3 of the Skeleton Spearmen have already taken critical damage and are going to start falling, and now Cetra is surrounded by Dragonback Slayers. Master Rune of Slowness 2, his speed is down to 8. He can't get out of the Slayers with 8 speed. Oh no! But one of the cannons was pushed off. It is coming back now. The Iron Drakes are turning to fire at Cetra as well as he tries to desperately claw his way out of these Slayers, but he can't because that Master Rune of Slowness. But maybe some friendly fire from the dwarves. No, okay, a little bit of friendly fire, but it also did pretty good damage onto Cetra. And that is a huge loss for the Tomb Kings to lose their lord this early in the game. The 8 speed is still holding. Master Rune of Slowness will not wear off on this poor man. Now it is gone, but so is Cetra. Too little too late as the fire throwers continue to douse his corpse in flames. Scream Skull catapults now under attack by the Rangers. And we have had some pretty good kiting on the far side. These Slayers have taken a lot of damage. These Shopties have taken a lot of damage. It's just that Cetra dive did not work out for the Tomb Kings at all. I was even surprised by the Master Rune of Slowness plus the Dragonback Slayer combo. That was fucking brutal. So, no shade being thrown for missing that. But with that combo, Cetra did get entirely killed off. Now, we did have a new Shopti summon that can kill this hapless cannon crew. Even if they dismounted and ran, they wouldn't get very far. And these Ushabti plus Spartan Stalkers continuing to kite out the Slayers. See, this is why Ark and the Black is just better in lore and in game. Hey now, one of those is false. I love how the Rangers just went into melee. They're like, fuck it, we're taking this out now. Is there a player called a pickle, a rat, both? No. What? No. Is dwarf time? Yeah. Sakurai would be terrified. You're correct. Chosen the Gods and the Catapults are making their last stand. They are attempting to get something done here before the hordes of the dwarves arrive. The dwarves' balance of power has been roughly evened up for the Tomb Kings. They straight up shattered that cannon crew. And this other cannon still has 2 models left, so they're firing. They're doing their best. The Tomb Kings are kiting away, but the catapults can't kite. Catapults are stuck in place, so they'll be killed off, and the balance of power will swing a little bit further in the favor of the dwarves when these 2 catapults and all of their ammunition are taken off the thing. Arkan is my favorite character. I might be biased. Arkan. Ooey owie, this man took Dowie. Cannon's gonna get a side shot on the Sporkle Stalkers. That'll be nice value for them. And the Iron Drakes are turning around. I am curious how they do. They fire upon the Ushabti. Ooh, attempt a sick dodge. Still take a good amount of damage, though. Tomb Prince is now suffering a similar fate. Trying to fight Thoric does not work out for him. Ushabti Great Bows are continuing to kite, but the Iron Drakes mulch through some Ushabti before getting compromised, and Slayers could run in with a rear charge, finish off those poor Ushabti. There was no one more loyal? Yeah, okay, that's fair. Arkan is very loyal. Sorry, I got a message about the tournament that I have to deal with. I will leave you all watching this while I deal with it. Okay. I'm back. Did I miss anything? The Iron Drakes continue to fire. Looks like the Ushabti are catching some strays. Slayer's getting shot. They are a little AFK at the moment, so Ideologue does need to rally those forces and get them moving once again. So far, they're just getting shot by the Sparkle Stalkers for free when they could be chasing down these Ushabti and guaranteeing the safety of the Iron Drakes. Ushabti Great Bows up in the high ground, still falling back, still attempting to kite for as long as they can. But I don't think it is going to matter, as those Iron Drakes, like they did to Settra before, are now just haranguing this poor Tomb Prince. No! The Master Rune of Slowness plus the Slayers! No! Run, Tomb Prince! No! 8 speed! Oh, the 8 speed as the Slayers tear him limb from limb. 6 seconds until the Master Rune of Slowness wears off, but it's not going to matter as our poor Tomb Prince lad is just dead. The Ushabti are also dead, leaving just the Sparkle Stalkers and the Great Bows on the high ground, who are currently attacked by Dwarf Warriors and Miners. The balance power shifts. Danger low for the Tomb Kings. They do FF. GG. Thork did fine. Slayers did mixed. The Dragonback Slayers did fantastically well, while the other Slayers struggled to find a fight. Cannons, one did well, one got shut down. Iron Drakes did really well. Rangers mixed, because one paid for itself, one did not even get close. Dwarf Warriors struggled to get their value back, and Miners also struggled to get their value back, but they just cleared out skeletons, so they did fine. On the other side, Settra, one mistake cost this poor man his entire life. The Tomb Prince did all right for most of the game. He didn't get a lot of value, but he was just out harassing some dwarves and stuff. The Ushabti Great Bows, the Sparkle Stalker, the melee Ushabti were all played around the flanks really, really well. Liked that a lot. Scream Skull Catapults also did fantastically, but yeah. GG. GG indeed. That feels like, I don't know, Settra's probably overcosted or something, but that Tomb King's build feels way too small. Like, where did his money go? Too small. Sometimes that's just the Settra lifestyle. Ideologue up 1-0. Okay, I'm just checking some messages while they pick. Are they going a Skaven Mirror? Later, Edwin. Holy shit, it's a Skaven Mirror, maybe. Very lore accurate. That sounds like a Skaven thing. Is this a Skaven problem? My non-Skaven brain is too big to understand. Okay, in honor of the Skaven Mirror, hang on, I actually have a thing for this. In honor of the potential Skaven Mirror, where the fuck did I just put that folder? In honor of the potential Skaven Mirror, I have a hype video for you I made a long time ago and like never use. Warning, volume. 3, 2, 1, volume. go. Hopefully that didn't shut down the stream or anything. Yeah, some people know where that music's from. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Also, they lied to us. Neither of them is going Skaven, and now I feel betrayed. Alright, neither of them's going Skaven. I'm sad now. Ickett will never not make you laugh. Dude, Ickett's voice actor went hard. He did good. He did very good. I made that a super long time ago when I was a newer streamer, and back then, if you all remember, Turin used to have an intro he would do with some Doom music for the Ever Chosen or whatever his like Carl Franz themed tournament that he used to do was. Eternal Challenger League, I think it was. Whatever, doesn't matter, not the point. He used to have an intro, and when I was getting into streaming, I was like, I need an intro with music and stuff. That's what I need. So I made one. I ran it like 2 times, and no one seemed to give a shit. So then I stopped running it, and no one mentioned that I stopped running it, and I decided that was a subtle hint that I didn't need to run it at the start of every stream. Oh no, Cat with Whiskers, goodbye. Hope to see you again, my friend. Alexander's back on the Vampire Counts versus Keysliv. Turn at the faction or introduce the BFG division. Yeah, that was probably the one I was thinking of. Do you stream regularly? Hell yeah, dude. Cat with Whiskers. This is the 7th stream. Wait, no. This is the 6th stream in 5 days. And in a 7-day time span, we will have 8 streams. FYI. That is not regular. But I do try for at least like 3 or 4 streams a week. Yeah. Because we have one today at this time, one tomorrow at a more EU-friendly time, probably, whenever I get done with my noon meeting at work. And then Wednesday, we have a new player tournament in the EU time zone. All right, now the Cat with Whiskers is gone. Let's shit-talk him a bunch. Human the goat, rat, human goat thing. Wouldn't that make me a beast man? Sounds like you're describing beast men. Still working at the mayonnaise clinic? Hell yeah, brother. Mayo Clinic, baby. I was looking for a new job for a while, but then the economy's kind of doing some weird stuff, and Grace and I have a lot going on in our lives. So we want to take a vacation together as a couple, because we haven't done that yet, this fall. And then I was going to go out to Seattle and go hiking with Grace's sister's boyfriend. So those are 2 big trips that I need PTO for. So I don't want to switch jobs and not have PTO. And then we're getting married in summer of next year. So then we'll have a honeymoon. So then there's like, you don't want the expenses of moving and the expenses of the wedding at the same time. And also we would need PTO again, paid time off for the honeymoon. So there's just so much shit going on right now that we're like, okay, maybe it's not the best time to move. Do I sign up on Total Tavern? Usually, yes, Harrison McLean. I run a lot of new player tournaments there. There's also my Discord where I post all my tournaments. Sometimes we do some on Challenge, some on Total Tavern, but yeah. This one's already going, so unfortunately it is too late to sign up for this tournament that's directly on your screen, but like, for future ones, join our Discord or keep an eye on Total Tavern. Congratulations. Thanks. Thank you much. So yeah, I'm still working at the Mayo Clinic. Looks like I'll be there for another couple of years. Alrighty, 2 Warbear Riders for Kislev, 2 heavy war sleds as well. Looks like double Streltsy, 5 armored Kossars, and Tsarina Katerin with a Heart of Winter and Ice Sheet. Nice. On the other side, we have Black Knights and Blood Knights. Are those triple gold chevroned again? This man loves his triple gold chevron Blood Knights. Good lord. Alright. Alexander has a style and he's sticking to it. Then we have Manfred von Karstein with Wind of Death, Invocation Hack, and Fate of Buna. Also really likes his Wind of Death. A whole bunch of zombies and Graveguard and skeletons. We have a Mortis Engine and a Necromancer to try and heal up all of this infantry. Congrats, bro. Thanks. How much is Rank 9 Blood Knights again? I don't know. I would guess about 1,500 or 1,600. That is a lot of infantry, and they are spooky. But Tsarina did take the Heart of Winter, which can be really hard for blobs of infantry to escape. So for Alexander's sake, I hope when he gets up there, he is able to separate out a bit. Also, if his Black and Blood Knights get killed off, these heavy war sleds can like legitimately just cycle charge their way through this entire infantry thing, because you need mass to stop them. You need like Crypt Horrors or I guess Manfred. You do have Manfred who can like catch him. That is a nice use of the Ice Sheet from Ideologue. Slows them down to 59 speed. Now the Black Knights are taking the charge from the Warbear Riders, so the Blood Knights can get a counter charge. That's pretty nice. You don't want them taking the big charge. Here we are in the fight. The Warbear Riders are loving their life right now as Manfred tries to join in on the party, but his Black Knights are already going to be dead by the time he gets here. He's just kind of lumbering his way over. Looks like he is starting off with a Fate of Buna onto the Warbear Riders. I don't remember if Fate of Buna is good onto Warbear Riders. I legitimately don't. I know they don't have enough models for it to be max effectiveness, but I don't remember if that makes it just bad. Breath Attack tickles them a little bit, and the Blood Knights are now starting to opt out as the Warbears have taken a lot of damage. But they're running into another Ice Sheet? Does it work that way? I don't know. They don't seem to be affected by it right now, so it looks like it only affects the units in its circle when it casts. Blood Knights now being left behind, shot by the heavy war sleds and attacked by the Warbear Riders. They are donezo. The only thing positive you could say about that interaction is that there's no healing for Kislev, so those Warbears are going to be as injured as they were forever. Streltsy are now firing upon the Mortis Engine. His armored Kossars are beset by Graveguard, the Sternsman, Skeleton, Spears. Blood Knights seem to kind of suck these days. Not having armor piercing is hurting them quite a lot. I mean, they have some, but not a ton. The Mortis Engine gets an Invocation to Heck, trying to keep it alive as the Streltsy gun it down. Oh, boy. Oh, no. This might be a toughie for the Vampire Counts here. As those Streltsy have almost killed the Mortis Engine, the Blood Knights and the Black Knights have already died, and Manfred von Karstein is doing his best to put this game on his back. But he was disrupting some pistol units. He wasn't disrupting the Streltsy because everything looks the same. And here's what we're worried about. Is it overcast? It's overcast. Oh, God, no. The poor Vampire Counts, which is not a sentence I'm used to saying out loud, but here we are. The poor Vampire Counts. As that Heart of Winter is going to keep scaling up. Scaling the slow as well on an already slow faction. They're trying to waddle out of it for now. The Mortis Engine is gone, and these guys, they're actually moving a lot faster than I would have thought for the Heart of Winter. Because the Heart of Winter does scale up to its max amount. Yeah, I did about half HP off all those guys. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I had feared. Still pretty bad. But not as bad as I feared. The Undead front line is struggling to even get through the Kislevite front line. They are grouping up around the Necromancer for some healing. Manfred taking a lot of damage from Streltsys and War Wagons. Oh boy. Oh gee, oh gosh, oh my. As he tries to get up in the eye, even the Streltsy he's currently fighting turned and shoot at him. Oh no. We do have a Wind of Death coming out. It's hard to tell if that was overcast or undercast, and it even goes into the nearby armored Kossars. That's some MLG level plays. I don't think it's going to save the Vampire Counts here, but it was a valiant attempt. I don't want anybody to panic, but Human Boy may have been replaced by a vampire. I will not be judged this way. Dav is next. Coops is back. Hi, Coops. How was your session? Or is it still going? Or did you not go yet? I'm not really good at time stuff. That's going to be a nice breath attack from the old Vampiro. Half health off those armored Kossars. But it is just too late. As more skeletons fade, Mannfred takes more damage. Kislev is going to do great. Now he's feeling sympathy for Mannfred. Somebody call the police. 1,000 on one of the Streltsy. 1,600 and climbing on the other one. Warbear Rider's trying to chase off Mannfred. But I don't think it'll be enough, Captain. Another Ice Sheet cast from Zarina. I don't know what she was worried about moving around here, but she maybe just wanted the army passive, the armor for everybody. Maybe she knows she's not getting another Heart of Winter and just wanted to get the armor out quick. I have to save some replays that we're going to cast. So 1 second. Okay, I have saved it. Rare Kislev W. It is looking that way as Mannfred even starts to take army losses. That is going to be it. GG's well played to Ideologue and Alexander. Alexander, hope to see you in the future. Did really like your plays and some of the builds that you brought. And we'll see Ideologue in the finals. Very GG's. Samurek, will you ever see the return of your glorious face? Katarin did fine. Warbear Riders did very well. The sleds did great. Streltsy did great. And then the Armored Kossars existed, and that was their job. Mannfred did his best to carry the game, as the Blood Knights and Black Knights did get isolated on the far side. Mortis Engine and the Infantry Blob were largely ignored by Kislev until the late game. And that's a GG. It's a GG well played to both. Enjoyed it quite a bit. Alex is the Catapult King? Hell yeah, he is, dude. He made Tomb Kings look good for the first time in a long time. I thought I saved replays, and then I didn't. There they are. They're on my desktop. They're not in my replay folder. Gotcha. So we have a best of 3. This is not the semifinal, but Lasaurus sent me the replays from him versus King DD. And since I don't have any semifinals replays to cast just yet, I know they were having some technical difficulties or whatever, I will just cast this best of 3. Damn it. How do we spell it? U-R-O-U-S. 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 Okay. Now on the other side we have King DD, who we did see earlier versus Pinguino. Alright, I'm starting to get the semis replays. Slowly. He's too good. Ideologue did, in fact, play pretty good. All right. For Lasaurus and Awesomes / King DD. Game 1, Slaanesh versus Warriors of Chaos. I played the Evil Cathay build with 4 SEM, stooping the Sentinels. Samurek! Samurek, how dare you? Okay, I took the blocker down, right? Just making sure. Yeah, nice. For Slaanesh, we have 2 Marauder Horsemen, 3 Seekers of Slaanesh, Chaos Warriors mixed in with Devoted Marauders of Spears, some Devoted Marauders of Hellsworges, our old friend Prince Sigvald the Magnificent, who I actually haven't seen in a long enough time that I am fine with seeing him again. I'm like, oh, okay, that's neat. And then we also have an Allurus of Slaanesh. Interesting. You don't see the Allurus much. Lash of Slaanesh and Acquiescence for her. Normally you just see the Chaos Sorcerer or whatever. On the other side, for the Warriors of Chaos, we have Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows with Pitishades and Melkoths. We have Valkia the Bloody. We have 3 Skirmish Cav, all of which are Horse Masters. We have 2 Hellstriders with the anti-large version that did get severely nerfed. Frontline of Marauders with great weapons, and then some Chaos Warriors, including the Mirror Guard in the back. Who's excited for work tomorrow, James Bowler? Me. Me, buddy. Little bit of Benny healing as the Allurus gets hit by some skirmish, and the Hellstriders of Slaanesh are going to get caught napping as the Seekers pile into them. Seekers have better melee stats, though their armor piercing is a little wasted versus the Hellstriders. The fact they got the charge there, they are just going to mince through these little Hellstriders like a fresh onion. They're having a bad time, but the Spear Sleipnir comes in for Valkia, doing really good damage back onto these 2 cav pieces. And with the rear charge from Valkia, the Seekers are actually going to start their demonic instability crumbling soon. That is alarming and bad. The Seekers are currently trying to opt out of the fights. They're not really fighting back anymore, which is causing them a lot of damage. And yeah, they get that demonic instability crumbling. So there they go. And oof ba-boof, Batman. The front lines are colliding. The Slaanesh front line should, in theory, be better. As Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh start taking some melee engagements with these Marauder Horse Masters. The Horse Masters do have better stats overall, though, so largely be okay with this. You have the Marauder Horsemen fighting the Hellstriders. They get rear charged. Or were they facing the correct way? It's hard to tell after they're already in melee, but they possibly got Devastating Flanker charged, which is not a good time for them. Seekers trying to help the Allurus fight against all of these Skirmish Cav. More Seekers fighting Hellstriders. Chaos Warriors joining in them, and the Seekers aren't winning it by enough to be considered a good trade, unfortunately. Valkia has dove on our Allurus, and there's no infantry or anything nearby. She has no support outside of these Seekers who are now trying to abandon her at all speed. Elsewhere, the Slaanesh front line is doing fine, especially with the help of Sigvald. Seekers back off with their fight with the Hellstriders. These other Seekers get caught once again, now by Hellstriders recharging them and by Horse Masters surrounding them on all sides. They will pretty soon start their demonic instability crumbling once again. Big Pit of Shades from the caster of the Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows. He was overcast because he took that damage, which means it'll mulch through those Chaos Warriors without any issue. And the Seekers even catching a little bit of it with a Melkoths on them as they run away. Bounce power is against Slaanesh at this point. Okay. Sorry. Semi-final question. Had to deal with it. Is Cooler Not Magic made range meta? What? Oh, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying. I got confused for a second. Has the Spear Sleipnir's cast time been increased? No, but it does feel like it's coming out a little slower sometimes, but it's still pretty fast. It's a pretty fast spell. Anyway, Seekers trying to fight Chaos Warriors. They are really not doing well in the attrition game, just being a demonic unit. If they take any damage, they start doing that, and when they do that, they're pretty much dead. And that could be the end of Slaanesh in this game. GG's there. Little Lash of Slaanesh just getting a bit of damage out, but with only Marauders and some Chaos Warriors left, while the Warriors of Chaos have Valkia and Pit of Shades and a bunch of Skirmish Cav / regular Cav, I just struggle to see how Slaanesh is going to get anything accomplished for the rest of this game. So we'll play it on ×2 speed for now. Sigvald still doing well. Valkia trying to snipe out the Allurus. Gets a little bit of damage, then Sigvald opts into a fight with her. Acquiescence is popped onto her to make her melee stats lower, but Sigvald is trapped right now in just a bunch of horsemen, so we can't get over there and help out with the fight. The Allurus crumbles away because she is demonic. The rest of the Slaanesh army is being torn apart, and poor Sigvald is here vibing, doing his best. Fighting his own Mirror Guard. That's fucked up. The Mirror Guard shouldn't be able to fight Sigvald. It's not allowed. They should just give him the melee defense bonus anyway. 777 for lucky old Sigvald, leaving the battlefield with full HP. One of those was a Heartseeker of Slaanesh. Got it. didn't perform. Neither did the Seekers. Allure did, honestly, okay. She was a fine little caster. I forget what her cost is, but if she's cheap, then that was relatively worth it. Chaos Warriors and the Marauders did okay, but it was just the mobile game was eventually lost, and then they got Cycle Charged and Pit of Shades and all that good stuff. Valkia and her caster did all right. Hellstriders did fine. Marauder Horse Masters did well. Chaos Warriors, Chaos Marauders, middling value, but they were not needed. GG. That will go to King DD. And we are on to game 2. Oh. I know from experience this is a toughie. We have Wurzag and the Greenskins versus Kugat, Plaguefata, and Nurgle. Nimisway, you know what? You win this round. He probably does like it. On the side of Nurgle, we have 2 cultists. These are the cultists who both had the gate. So, double gate summon. 2 Plague Toads of Nurgle. 1 Barons of the Bog, Pox Rider. Front line of Marauders. Secondary line of Chaos Warriors of Nurgle with Great Weapons. 1 Marauder with Great Weapon to bridge the 2. And then Kugat, Plaguefata, with Fleshy Abundance and Rancid Visitations as his 2 spells. On the side of the Greenskins, we have Goblins, Nasty Skulkers, Goblins and Nasty Skulkers, the 8-Peak Loons Fanatics across the front line. Then we have some Night Goblin Archers, including the Rusty Arrows. This does give them stock on the advance, so Kugath can't throw his disgusting globulates at them. That's kind of nice. We have 2 Orc Biggins, River Troll, and the Swamp Things River Trolls, so trying to lower that melee attack of Nurgle with their overwhelming odors while still being regenerating trolls and such. And then we have some Goblin Wolf Riders on the backfield. 4 of them, to be exact. The Night Goblin Archer tech is kind of interesting. I like that. I don't love Nasty Skulkers versus Nurgle, generally. I feel like Nasty Skulkers are paying for armor piercing you're not going to use. Alright. Sorry, I had another message about the semifinals. Just had to answer it quick. Barons of the Bog getting shot by those little archers that could. And the Nurgle front line is winning for now, but the secondary line of the Greenskins is coming up. I do want to see Wurzag casting more spells faster, because I'm not seeing a ton of them. I saw Brainburster early on, but he needs to cast out just like a bunch of spells, keep getting them out there, so that his front line gets more melee stats. There's a Fist of Gork, and then that does give everybody some melee stats to keep them in the battle. Goblin Wolf Riders getting some rear charges on certain areas, trying to break them, and the first wall comes out. That is going to be important. Gives everybody ITP, helping them last a little bit longer. But again, it's just more charge bonus, more melee attack. I'm really trying to get through this Nurgle front line. Meanwhile, the 3 Night Goblin Archers have been uncontested. As soon as I say that, a Plague Toad gets through the Goblins and gets back to them. We do have a bit of bunching up from the Greenskins infantry. They will need to spread out a little bit more if they want to cover more ground and protect these archers, but also just in the late game, you don't want to be blobbed up against Kugath, so it's something they're going to have to nip in the bud. Overcasted Rancid Visitations. I did in Platypus's tournament. I got that experience also with Wurzag. That was versus Festus, but yeah, overcasted Rancid Visitations were the bane of my existence. Archers firing on the Plague Toads, who are getting out here. They're chasing off some goblins, but I'm sure soon they will move on to those Night Goblins. And the River Trolls are doing all right. Yeah, the River Trolls are doing all right. This is a bit too clumpy. And Kugath comes over to start draining down the whole clump. Now, it looks like some of these Orc Biggins, I can't tell where they're going, but they might be leaving the fight, which would be smart. Fecundity on this blob is trying to help Nurgle stay in it over there, and he is doing well in that regard. The Rusty Arrow is trying to bail out their other Night Goblin Archers from those Tippity Toads. Have you guys used your Loons cast yet? They have not used any of their Loons casts yet. We will want to see that very soon from the 8-Peak Loons. Right down here, there's a Marauder. Oh, okay, these are both Marauders. Never mind. I mean, still, you should use it, but it's not that important. So the Archers are going to finish off this Plague Toad. The Swamp Things are going to finish off the other Plague Toad. And honestly, nice job from the Greenskin player. Here, Losaurus. Nice job securing your backline. That's pretty clutch. Fists of Gork on the River Trolls again, plus Edbutt, gonna clear out some of these Chaos Warriors and give them time with the Cultist of Nurgle. One of the Cultist summons is out. The Plague Bearers. And another Overcasted Rants of Visitations hits Wurzag as he throws out a Brain Burst onto that summon. Does some decent little damage. The Barons of the Bog are getting shot by the Night Goblin Archers. With Curse of the Slug slowing them down, but currently no one is going to attack them, so it doesn't look like that curse is going to matter too much here. Wolf Riders need to be rallied. They need to chase anything that routes so that the Greenskins don't have to waste more ammo on it later. Night Goblin Archers doing pretty well on ammunition, except for the Rusty Arrows, who are running a bit low. Greenskins feeling all right. All right, good night, Knighthood. See you later. Bellicor, I saw you saying some stuff in German about Guten Nacht, so I assume you're talking to Knighthood and you're not also going to bed. But if you are also going to bed, then Guten Nacht. Haben Sie Guten... What the hell is Ash Schläfen? Damn it. Alright. That's the hardest part of remembering German for me, is just vocabulary. Because if you forget a word, it's really hard to like just infer what the word should be. So Plaguebearer Summon 1 is still out there. I think it is trying to fall away. The other Plaguebearer Summon is available, but has not been cast just yet. Kugath is becoming the center of attention in a world of increasing violence. And a headbutt hits some of the Marauders just as the Wolf Riders charge in, so it routes both of them off, and the Wolf Riders even shatter. Meanwhile, some Chaos Warriors fighting a massive amount of people, and the Nasty Skulkers are actually doing okay versus Chaos Warriors. I'll give them that. The Rusty Arrows and these Night Goblins, a lot of their ammo is going to have to go into the Plague Father himself. Wolf Riders, oof, Wolf Riders can't let these things come back. They're going to have to chase. Some Marauders are returning. This is a summon. Oh, it's a Nurgling summon. How many more of those do you have? Here's another one. So Kugath has a Nurgling summon. This guy has a Plaguebearer summon left. Archers continue poking him for a bit. I'm going to play it at ×2 speed for just now as we get into the can you kill Kugath or can't you phase. Fists of Gork for the Swamp Things as they charge in with 74 melee attack, but their leadership is faltering in the face of Kugath, and they are pushed off rather quickly. The other River Trolls are also going to be on their way out. Kugath did cast the Healy thing on himself, Fleshy Abundance it looks like, as he is juiced for now. Wolf Riders still trying to run down Marauders. Nasty Skulkers running down more Marauders. Wolf Riders also need to be activated. Balanced power moves in the favor of Nurgle. Kugath's down to half HP. His heal cap's in sight, but we'll see if he even has enough Winds of Match to do anything about it. But the Greenskins just are out of gas. They don't have enough things left to fight old Kugath. Archers firing in. The Nasty Skulkers show up. And there's the second Plaguebearer summon. It does route off. So the Greenskins have rallied in the distance. Trolls are trying to regen up. Archers are just getting their shit together. And they're waiting for this Plaguebearer summon to wear out. There it is. So now Nurgle has no summons left. After 2 Overcasted Rants of Visitations and a Fleshy Abundance onto Kugath, I have to think he also doesn't have a lot of Winds of Magic left. For the Nurgle army, we just have these Marauders as any form of infantry. The other infantry were successfully run off. Archers are firing in now. The AP Loons also took a fight, pushing off those Marauders, leaving Kugath all alone. 2 Night Goblin R's are firing into him, doing really good damage, all things considered. The Trolls are now charging in as the rest of the Greenskin army also gets ready. Wurzag threw down another Fists of Gork. He continues to fight, throws out a Brain Burster as well for just some more support. A Get Back here to give him a little bit of leadership, but Kugath had enough for another Fleshy Abundance or a Fecundity or something. Heals him back up. Wurzag charges in, gets nuked out, does retreat, and the Archers are running out of ammo, and army losses is coming in hot as Kugath reigns supreme. And since those were the 2 games sent to me, and King DD did, it looks like they did go 2-0. It looks like Losaurus dealt with his rule break issue as just acknowledging it existed, but FFing the game anyway. After watching it, I agree. Now, technically, you can if your opponent makes a rule break, you can ask for a replay. That is perfectly fine to do. But my personal preference when I am involved is if the rule break didn't matter for the state of the game. If I'm involved in the rule break, I usually just tell my opponent, I'm like, hey, this was a rule break, but it didn't matter. I think that's true. I don't think that second Plague Bearer summon mattered. It scared a Goblin Archer for a second. The Goblin Archer ran away. It rallied in the distance, came back, used all of its ammo, and it couldn't kill Kugath. So I don't think it mattered here. I think it was pretty classy of Lassurus to just acknowledge it and FF the game anyway. That's a classy move. Archers did fantastically well. The River Trolls also did better than I would have expected. Orc Biggins did fine. Nasty Kulkers did fine. Goblins did okay. Goblin Wolf Riders struggled a little bit, but they were mostly around for just like some mobile pressure, I guess. But the healing of the big single entity carried it. 5,300 for Kuget. Barons of the Bog 600. Chaos Warriors with great weapons, not really paying for themselves. Cultists also struggling a bit, but Marauders did. Mostly Kuget. So GG's to King DD. And Lassurus. Alright, where are we at with the tournament? Do people need me to do stuff? Oh, I have to go do admin things. Okay. A player forgot to update their score. So I gotta go fix that. Hang on. Alright. Match. Show me more than 10 entries per page. Come on now. What is this, Amateur League? Okay. All right, sorry, one second. Score 2, okay. So then that should do that. I'm learning how to admin in real time, so give me a second here. Oh, but then that didn't give Boojilicious his opponent? What the fuck? I don't know how that works. What the hell? Score put it on? Is that it? One second. Trying to figure out how to get Boojilicious his opponent because it wasn't reported, and now I've ruined everything. Okay, I'm gonna have to drop Lassurus and hope that it just auto advances King DD. There it is. Holy shit. Okay, whatever. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, Sakura. Yeah, he has a lot of Winds of Magic, apparently. I honestly was also surprised he had all that. I literally, during the cast, said, well, I think he's probably out of Winds of Magic about now. Alright, we had Boojilicious send in the replay, so I actually have no idea who is going to win here. Or if the series is even done. As far as I know, they could still be playing. Is Boojilicious versus King DD. Looks like we have Nurgle and Tzeentch. Traditionally, you're bad, forgot to do that part. How dare you? That's okay. I also am very new to this site. Traditionally, this is very, very Tzeentch favored. Like, just thinking about, like, fire and magic damage dealing ranged units versus Nurgle. But since the mortal units got added, like the Marauders and the Chaos Warriors and stuff, and the meta's just developed and Nurgle got a few buffs and whatever, Nurgle does have more teeth in this matchup. Umbrella and I played it once, and it was really, really close. It came down to me just spamming blue fire on him in a hyper late game scenario. So Nurgle has some teeth. I still generally, like, for most players, would say it's Tzeentch favored, but we'll see. For Bootylicious' build, he has 4 blue horrors, 2 pink horrors, 1 exalted pink horror, and a soul grinder. Plus Kairos Fate Weaver with blue fire and regrowth. We have some Chaos Warriors with halberds and some skirmish cav. The Herald of Nurgle is getting the very fun haha gaming experience as Locus of Fecundity is trying to heal him up as he was netted and blue fired and shot by a whole bunch of stuff. We'll see if he can get out of here before his demonic instability crumble. He starts as the soul grinder continues to snipe him out too. A tough time for Nurgle, but there is a fleshy abundance getting cast that will save him in the nick of time. Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle on the other side. I didn't get to cast their build because shit went down too quickly. Plague Toads, Marauders, Nurglings, Plague Toads, Exalted Hero of Nurgle, a dead Herald of Nurgle that used to exist. I promise he was there earlier. We also have some Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, so it's a pretty standard Nurgle push. Some of these skirmish cav are trying to get involved in melee, but they are just getting pushed off by the pink horrors, plus the leadership debuff of losing your lord is hurting them rather swiftly. So Nurgle is continuing to press even past this front line. It looks like a couple of them are getting caught up on these blue horrors, but they are trying to walk around. It's just taking them a little bit. Barons of the Bog taking that sweet, sweet pink horror damage, but the Blazing Squealers are now getting ommed on by Toads. They won't enjoy that for very long. Though the Blazing Squealers do have an impressive 48 melee defense, so they're not helpless by any means. Blue fire from Kairos pokes some of the Barons of the Bog, though it does a little bit of friendly fire on his blue horrors in the back there. Whoops. That's a whoops and a half. And Nurgle continues on, doing their very best. The Soul Grinder is starting to feel a little awkward. I guess he can shoot at the Exalted Hero of Nurgle, but he's really good at sniping out single entities, and after that, he can kind of get lost in the sauce. He doesn't really have a whole lot of function left after that point. But he still can shoot at Exalted Heroes, and by golly, he will. Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle trying to catch the Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch. They do finally get a rear charge on them. They will probably be able to rout those guys, but Kairos being nearby could lead to a terror rout at any second. He lands on them, and a terror rout. I'm a genius. Barons of the Bog and the Plague Toads are continuing to fight. Other Plague Toads falling apart as the horrors deal with them. It ended up being pretty close considering the start, but I do think the writing's on the wall at this point as we are getting down to just Chaos Warriors that can tank through Nurglings all day. Challenge is better, but for a new player tournament, I wanted to get more eyes on the prize. Total Tavern's still a work in progress. Yeah, he's still improving it and stuff. This is a pretty sweet tournament. Thanks, James Bowler. I don't know if you were one of the players and you have your YouTube name different than your Discord name, but if you weren't one of the players, then thanks. If you were one of the players, I hope you had a good time. Alright, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle still getting shot by these little pink horrors that could. They're doing their very best. Barons of the Bog continuing to fight it out, and the Exalted Hero of Nurgle is trying to get onto Kairos Fate Weaver and get a little bit of damage onto him. But that big boy has regrowth, so even if you actually damage him, I don't think it's going to matter that much. Chaos Warriors of Nurgle chewing through some pink horrors, and they are just keeping the balance of power just at bay. Barons of the Bog have faded at last. That means everybody around here gets their weapon strength back. Barons of the Bog have an AoE weapon strength debuff. Just an FYI for everybody involved. Pink Horrors getting attack orders onto these Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, and for some reason that takes them into melee. I don't know if that was intentional, but yeah. No Surgical Spectator meant to say this is a very good watch. The compliment is accepted. It is allowed. I'm going to allow this. And yeah, this might be the end point for Nurgle here. Bounce power is tipping on army losses territory. The Soul Grinder is trying to snipe out that Exalted Hero, and Kairos is waiting to just cast another blue fire on him at any moment. And that is GG. Kairos did fine, Soul Grinder did great. Blazing Squealers also did fine. Chaos Horrors with Halberds held. The Skirmish Cav did okay. Pink Horrors did mixed. And the Blue Horrors did fine. Just fine. Paying for themselves with gusto. On the other side for King DD / Awesomers, whatever you want to call him, his Lord got sniped immediately. He had to play the whole game without him, which is a huge bummer. But from there, he did actually scrap back pretty effectively. I liked his play overall, but losing your Lord and caster that early is just so rough. So GG, but that shit happens, my man. Alright. Somebody outside is very cool. Oh, Boojilicious, no. No! It's the strat game build. Double Gorgon Jabber Scythe. God damn. God damn. Can the ogres deal with it? Now, the ogres might be able to. So here's the copium take. Is ogres are very good at surrounding a big thing and beating the shit out of it. That's just how they do. For the side of the ogres, we have Scrag the Slaughterer with Brain Gobbler, Troll Guts, and Bone Crusher. He has some Noblar support, some Ogre Bowls with Iron Fists, some Iron Guts, 2 of them. We have 2 Crushers with Great Weapons, one of which is the Sky Strider's ROR, and some Noblar Trappers. Do you live next to an illegal racing track or something? No, I live next to a bunch of people with very, very loud trucks and motorcycles who think they're silly. Hold on. Puppet Masters just arrived. Now got to see if anyone's interested in playing. Wonkiness, where were you in Australia? Were you in the person I sent that to in Australia? Because if it made it to you, then that is great. I hope you enjoy that. Also, hi Torox. Your faction's up. For the Beastmen side, we do have Ungor Spearman herds, 3 of them. Jabber Scythe, including the Vargablargablargablar, ROR. 2 Gorgons, Malagor Dark Omen in the sky, 4 Ungor Raiders, and 2 Throwing Axe Centaurs. Oh yeah, Scrag? Hell yeah, Scrag. So the Beastmen front line is going to just instantly get murked out, and this is what we were worried about for the Beastmen. You are dealing with one of the very few factions that can just take a big thing and beat the shit out of it. And the Ogres are going to pin him down. Malagor even dives in to try and save this poor Gorgon. On the other side, more Crushers, more catching of things as the Gorgon and the Vorgablargablargablar are getting kind of murdered. Ogres on the backfield now chasing down all of these poor little Ungor archers. They can't get away. They can't flee from the ogres. And Centaurs are throwing axes left to do something drastic as one of the Gorgons is straight up dead. And even cast a Dismember as he dies. Can they catch Malagor on the ground? Do they even care? It looks like they do care. It looks like they might just catch him. On the other side, the Vargablargablargablar is getting torn apart. So is the Gorgon. We have a Flock of Doom Overcast trying to free them up a little bit. And Malagor actually did somehow live. He somehow got out of there. But he quickly surrenders, realizing he just can't do anything about that. Not a lot of value on the Beastmen roster in such a short game. I imagine we will see the Sky Striders with really good value, and everything else will be pretty meh. Sky Striders 2,100, 1,000 on the other Crusher, and then mixed for the rest. But yeah, Ogres are uniquely good at surrounding a big single entity and beating the piss out of it. Okay. So we do have a game 3, which was literally just sent to me. So give me a second while I figure out who the finalists are, and then I'm going to message one of the finalists and say, you send me replays for finals, win or lose. Okay. I have instructed a player in the finals to send me the replays no matter what. And they are going to start those now, so there's limited downtime. Again, it is a work night, and it is a late night tournament, so we just kind of want to keep this shit rolling. Make sure everybody gets to sleep on time. Should have brought Torox. True, dude. Should have brought Torox. All right, last game between King DD and Boojilicious. And actually, in a fun teaser, Boojilicious is playing in tomorrow's event that I'm streaming. He is bringing Malice Darkblade. You can see here, I'm going to pull it up real quick. I'm streaming this tomorrow, but you can see the top right. Boojilicious is Malice Darkblade, so it looks like when things got rough, he went back to comfort. But tomorrow is the faction face-off where we have two teams of thematic allies fighting against each other. It's dodgeball style, so like, for example, if Boojilicious loses, the easy example is one. So let's say World Beater wins and the rest of his team loses. You'd think it's over. It's 5-1, right? Like, that's the score. Well, no. Everybody has to beat... World Beater has to be defeated. So he could beat, like, the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. Like, if World Beater beats everybody on the enemy team, the demons still win. So it's like dodgeball. You know, you have to... One team has to be entirely killed before the event's over. So those are all done. I'll have a replay stream of that tomorrow. You'll get to see how that went. It's a very fun event. People like it. I'm already not sleeping on time, but whatever. Sorry, Booj. I hope I get lost against the winner of the tournament. That would be a consolation prize. So for Boojilicious and the Dark Elves, we have Triple Reaper Bolt Thrower, Malice Darkblade, a Dark Sorceress, but on her Pegasus. That's got something kind of new. We do have a Soul Stealer for her. Black Arc Corsairs and Dread Spears, and then a front line of 3 Shades. So very shoot heavy versus Cathay. Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense now, thinking of who you're facing, why your build is that way. We have a Dragblooded Shugenin Lord of Yin with Ancestral Warrior and Talons of Night. A front line of Peasant Long Spearmen. The Jolly Green Giant, the Green Guardian Terracotta Sentinel ROR. We have 2 Crane Gunners, 2 Iron Hail Gunners, some Jade Lancers for a bit of pressure, Jade Warriors, Jade Warriors, Jade Warriors. And nice. When I played this matchup with Blood Penguin, and I have played it a little bit since then, as Cathay, I've realized that Jade Lancers are usually your key to victory here. They're very, very cost effective, and maybe even some Peasant Horsemen. If you have like 6 Cav units versus what the Dark Elves traditionally want to bring, it's pretty effective, because usually they want to go super heavy in the missiles to punish a box, so then if you have 6 Cav, you can run down all those ranged units and generally get your money's worth. So I like the Jade Lancers here. Alright, Crane Gunners in range of these Bolt Throwers now. Similar to the Skaven, once the Jezzails get in range of those artillery pieces, they will start to trade extremely cost effectively. Jade Lancers pouring out into the Shades, getting a decent charge off. And a big Soul Stealer hits the central pocket here, hitting 2 Jade Warriors. Well, a Jade Warrior, the Iron Hail Gunner, and the Green Guardian. But oh no. Oh no, it's hunting season, boys. And those shotguns are just ripping into the Crows of Cain. Oh, I mean, you love to see it if you want the Crows of Cain to die, but you hate to see it if you like the Crows of Cain being alive, as they just get almost deleted in one volley. The second volley is going for him. Now, thankfully, there's occasionally that bug where the Iron Hails are shooting at the ground. They're shooting at dead models, so they're kind of shooting their own peasants in the face. You can see a little bit of what I said about those Jade Lancers being important. Jade Lancers in this matchup, pretty fucking good. They rout off some Shades. They're even chasing a Bolt Thrower crew, and they're just ripping through that front line. So things are turning up Cathay in this early game. As the Crows of Cain are routed off, so are some of the Shades. And Cathay really hasn't suffered too much for there. Not charging the Green Giant into the Shades. I forgot he has that reflection. Yeah, maybe that would be smart. I know his reflection aura is a little wonky, and it's also very small. Now Malice is diving in, and the Darkcaster is fighting the Yin Lord, who has no source of healing, while the Darkcaster can take these trades, and if she takes a little bit of damage, she'll just Soul Stealer it off a little bit later. So these are some good plays for the Dark Elves to get back in it. It looks like Malice is just hunting down Jolly Green here. Doesn't want him to escape. Another Soul Stealer onto 3 units to heal her up while she charges in on the Yin Caster. And we saw this Song of Nits before versus Drazoth, with Penguino. Lures Drazoth to the ground, surrounds him in Ancestral Warriors. The Ancestral Warriors kill Drazoth. Now the same is happening to that Darkcaster. Will Boojilicious realize it and pull her out of there? It's hard to tell, but she's also surrounded in Peasant Long Spears, and she is just getting ripped apart, as also these Iron Hail Gunners are ready to punish her if she gets back in the sky. So that might just be the death of the Dark Elf caster. The two shades that are remaining, I guess the third one has rallied, but the two shades that are remaining are falling back for some Jade Warriors, and the last of the Bolt Throwers that is online will not be online for very much longer, as those Iron Nails, like I said, they're ready for as soon as she took off. Big damage onto the Dark Elf caster. The Dark Elves are behind on the bounce power, though honestly not as far behind as I would feel. It feels like Cathay has just been rolling their shit this game. Kind of surprised they're even in it at all. Both Crane Gunners are alive and happy. Tons of ammunition on them. They're doing good. The Iron Hail Gunners are getting a little close to those shades, and that is where it's going to start turning bad for them. Malice is still chilling. Malice is, of course, vibing. And the Dark Elf Infantry is actually taking a lot of damage on the advance, which you would expect them to kind of thrash the Cathay units. But with that Harmony buff, plus just like range support from these Crane Gunners, plus charges from those Jade Lancers, it is looking pretty bad for the Dark Elves right now. We have some Rallying Shades. The Dark Elf caster, I swear she has more health than she used to, so she must have gotten a Soul Stealer off somewhere. Bounce power drunk? I don't know. Booge, it's looking a little scary for the Dark Elves. It's looking a little scary, not gonna lie. Crane Gunner gets side charged by the Sorceress of Dark. She is trying to take them out. Jade Warriors are all blobbing up on Malice, trying to finish him off. Not really getting too much out of it, unfortunately, for them. The Crows of Cain return from the Dark Nether Realms. They are getting healing as long as they're in melee combat, so they're happy to just chew up these Crane Gunners and get on with their lives. Talons of the Night's going to catch these Dread Spears. We do have one healthy Shade still in it, and they are going to kill those Iron Hail Gunners. Well, not kill them outright, but they were trying to. And the Lord Snipe is back in for the Dark Elves. The same playbook as we saw earlier. Just take the fight. If you take some poke, back off. You'll Soul Stealer later, but they do just want to poke down this Yin Lord. Crows of Cain are on to the last Crane Gunner, and that will get us into the late game scenario of a bunch of infantry and the Jolly Green Giant versus Dark Elves trying to kite them. So this Jade Lancer has to finish off that Shade, or Cathay might be fucking doomed. And it looks like both players realize that, as the Jade Lancer is going back where it needs to, and the Shade is trying to fire him, but it looks like they dropped attack orders for just a second, so they are standing there, getting shot. Now Malice is here. They do finally get their orders to run in, though, because they gotta shut down those Shades. The Shades are going to be the biggest problem for them. Good night, Be'lakor. Malice does charge in onto the Shugi Lord. Gets like one hit off, and then she escapes. And those Crows of Cain feasting real good. Killing two different Crane Gunners as the Jolly Green Giant tries to join in, but he's a little late to the party. Jade Lancers plus the Peasant Long Spears do kill that healthy Shade, and the Dark Elves are down to just single entities pretty much. It's mostly Malice at this point. Big Soul Stealer on to 5 units? 4 units. And the Darkcaster lands on the Yin Lord. Again, trying to poke her out as Malice also joins into the fight. His Mount Spite's trying to catch up. Ancestral Warrior Summon is out just before she gets finished off for good. I don't have any music for some reason, so that is kind of annoying. Sorry if that bothers you as much as it bothers me. Malice gets a rear attack off. The Jolly Green Giant really misses on that animation. Alright, but you tried. And the Yin Lord is dead. So here's going to be a problem for Grand Cathay. Their Lord's dead, lowering their leadership, and all their ranged units are pushed away, which means no Harmony. So no Harmony plus no Lord actually does make these guys pretty meh melee combatants. Like, fine, but not amazing. Shades are back for a brief moment before Jade Lancers are going to run them the fuck down. The Jolly Green Giant is fighting Malice Darkblade, and Malice probably going to beat him up, especially with Deadly Onslaught plus the blood price popped. He's doing a little bit of damage to himself, but it just gives him so much stats. And now I think the Dark Elves have probably got this. With the caster still alive, though she's probably running extremely low in Winds of Magic. With the caster still alive, Malice still in his first form, not even his second form, and all the enemy has is melee infantry left. It's going to be a long grind, but Malice has closed out games like that before. So if you are in this situation ever versus the Dark Elves, you'll want to separate out your infantry so that as few of them are fighting Malice at once as possible, so they get affected by less of his abilities. You'll just want to feed them in one by one and force Malice to take as long as possible to kill stuff, so that when he transforms into Jazarkan, he starts bleeding himself out. But it is a pretty tough situation overall, and it looks like the Dark Elves are in fact going to take this. He even transforms into Jazarkan to just hurry it up. Throws out Reaper of Souls and the explosion. Cathay is honestly into army losses territory. And Jolly Green is about to go down if Malice hits him one time. Jade Lancer's joined back in. Another Soul Stealer. How are you able to get so many of those off? Jesus Christ. Whatever. Jolly Green's still living. Still chilling for now as Jade Lancers try to stop Malice. Crows of Cain are back as well. And there's army losses. Jolly Green. I like to believe Jolly Green's still out there somewhere. Protecting the weak. Boojilicious will be advancing to finals. 1700 on Malice, 2200 on the Soul Stealer caster. Shades did alright. Crows of Cain did fantastically after their first rough incident. They did come back. Just so I didn't tear her out. Smart. That's smart. Yin Caster and the Jolly Green Giant not getting as much value as they would have liked. Crane Gunners did really well. Iron Hail Gunners did really well. Jade Lancers did incredibly nicely. And Jade Warriors and Peasant Log Spears did okay. But yeah, man. I can't stress how good Jade Lancers are in this matchup. They're really, really good. GG. All right, finals is underway. I don't see Boojilicious' lobby, so I think they are in game. Hang on. I'm not asking them to stop. Booj, if you're out there, don't worry about it. I'm just saying, if your lobby currently exists. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you guys are in game. Hopefully you are. Because I do have stuff to do tonight. Yeah. Alright, they're in game. Everybody take 5. I am going to go say hi to Grace for just a second. So I will be right back. I'm back. Alright, sorry. For the bit. Grace had a bit of a hard day, so I just wanted to check in on her and make sure things are going okay while I get my poop in a group. We have our first game. We have our first game of the finals. I am not going to bother with a blocker anymore because since we are getting these, I am casting them as I get the replays. I also don't know what's going to happen, so there's no blocker because there's nothing to hide from you people. All right. So let's get this going. What is his opponent's name again? Ideologue with an O. Gotcha. Boojilicious versus Ideologue. This is the finals. It is still best of 3. Just like the rest of the tournament has been. Nothing different. Let's go. Holy shit, Boojilicious took the dwarves. Not Ideologue. Let's go. Jump scare? Sorry, wonkiness. Yeah, sorry about the chair stream. Like I said, I was just checking in on Grace while we waited for our first replay. So what do we have here? For the dwarves, we have 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns. Where the hell did I go? Okay, we are outside the map. Got it. 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns. We have triple Iron Drakes with troll hammer torpedoes. 3 dwarf warriors, 3 miners with blasting charges, 3 slayers. This is the build of 3s apparently. A cannon and a rune lord on his anvil. Not Thoric. On the other side for Ideologue and his lizards, we have 2 Ripperdactyl riders, 2 Feral Cold ones on the far side, 2 more on this side, so 4 Feral Cold ones total. 4 Kroxigors, and then Red Crested Skinks and Skink Courts with Javelins. We also have the Red Crested Skink Chief for his anti-large armor piercing, but also just a relatively cheap stat line. And we have a Bastillon Vivification Crystal for some healing, mostly for the Kroxigors, I imagine. The scary part is, as its current year pointed out, that the lizards have no caster. Even though the Winds of Magic aren't optimal from a skink type caster, I still think a caster is always worth the cost, especially if you take a skink on foot. It can be pretty cheap. So I will say from Ideologue, that is, I really like the rest of this Lizardman build. This is solid anti-dwarf stuff, really good. You do need a caster. Like, it is just always worth it. But the rest of this, perfect. Are you serious? The Bastildon with the Revivification Crystal, casting its revive ability thing, counts as a cast, so the Locus of Power hurts it. Okay, all right. Just making sure we all know that that's a fact. Is there a tourney tomorrow? Wednesday, actually, Coops. Wednesday, there is an EU tournament. By EU, it's just the time zone. So if you can play during that time zone, if it's in the middle of the day for you, that's fine. It's just in the EU evening time. Tomorrow, there is a stream of an event that already happened, but it's a for fun event. It's not really a tournament. It's like a... Well, I'll explain more tomorrow. But yes, there's a stream tomorrow and a stream Wednesday. Wednesday, there's a tournament. Is Booj new? Yes, he still qualifies as a newer player. So the Lizardmen are busting through that front line rather aggressively. Really nice stuff with the Kroxigors here, not letting them sit too long on that front line, keeping them moving, keeping them active. That is really good control so far from the Dwarven player. The Lizardman player. Ripperdactyls are in the back line. They are harassing down these cannons of Boojilicious, and already the Revivification Crystal is taking a ton of damage. These gyrocopters need to figure their shit out. I don't know what they're doing right now, but they're a little lost in thought. But this Bastildon's getting awful low, and it can't use its crystal on itself, so it has no healing support for it at all. Wherever the gyrocopters are, I mean, there is this one, but he is facing the wrong way. I think he probably got attack orders onto something that's beneath him, and then he just, like, lost what he was doing. That happens actually quite a lot. I don't see the other gyro, so it must have been taken out by a Ripperdactyl. Anyway. This is a build to win to Dowie? Oh, what are you talking about? Okay, I'm confused. I'm confused, so I'm just going to stop talking. Ripperdactyls and Kroxigors are tearing apart stuff, but now Slayers are in absolute heaven. Slayers love fighting Kroxigors, they love fighting Ripperdactyls, and they are going to pay for themselves 17 million times over if left to their own devices. This is the opposite of what Slayers want. This engagement with random skinks and nonsense, they hate that fight. So they love this fight, they hate that fight. Gyro's dropping some bombs, running away from the Ripperdactyls, generally doing okay. Red Crested Skink Chief is fighting the Rune Lord, and it looks like he was losing. Other Slayers on the other side losing to Kroxigors. But it's looking rough for the Dwarves here. Of course, the Dwarves counter bound spells. Yeah, the thing to me that seems so weird, though, is that the Revivification Crystal isn't even a spell. It's like an ability. But, yeah. You're right. So, for the Dwarves, honestly, everything is mega fucked, except for this 3rd health Slayer and the Rune Lord, which makes me think that this game is over. As the Lizardmen just push straight through that box without much issue. I don't see how they can come back from here, as the Rune Lord and his Slayers continue to battle on, but there's so many skinks, man. There's so many Kroxigors, and the Healy Turtle is back. With the Healy Turtle on your side, you're going to be just fine. Ripperdactyls chase off the last of the Gyrocopters, and that is looking like a GG. For the Dwarves of Zufbar, Rune Lord didn't get a lot of value. Trollhammer Torpedoes, one of them got good value, the others did not. Slayers, this one was in that fight I was talking about. The other two did not get their value. They were just fighting random skinks. Gyrocopters got run down. Cannons did okay. Dwarf Warriors did fine. And Midas Blast Charges got mostly rolled. For Ideologue, Red Crested Skink did good. Rev Crystal did not a lot, but it did some healing. Actually, yeah, he didn't do good. He did poorly, but sorry, I was lost in my own thought for a second. Ripperdactyls did well. Feral Cold Ones, they did fine. Kroxigors busted through that front line like nobody's business. They didn't get a lot of value, but they did just get in there. And Red Crested Skinks did fine, so GG. Again, there's no blocker, because even I don't know what Game 2 will bring. Boop. I'm just checking the lobby code that these two had, just in case they're chilling out here. Okay, when it did that to me last time, they were already in game, so they're already in game. Honestly, good build besides no caster for Lizardman. Yeah, it was actually a pretty solid build. Pretty solid build. Human Boy, how much did the shipping to Australia end up costing? Oh, I'm glad about the revival of the cute pets chat. It makes me happy. Okay. But yeah, the cute pets is great. Oh, Fat Cat at Recess has a cute kitty cat. That's a cute kitty cat. Okay. Chaz, this action does have my consent. Thanks for the $5, man. And to fill time, plus talking about the cute pets chat, I'm going to go fetch a cute pet. I need a victim. Cat. Oh. This is Mr. Kitty. His name is Ed. And he's a good boy. Look at Mr. Kitty. You're so good. Are you so good? Are you looking at yourself on the screen and you're like, is that me? Am I that handsome boy? Because you are that handsome boy. You're the handsomest. I like your all pause straightforward defense. But you're not using them. There you go. Swoop. So he's gone. Where's the other one? Hazel. Hazel, come here. Come here. She can get retucked. Come here. Come here, Hazel. Oh, I'm going to shake a fruit. True. Hazel, you're getting abducted. Hi, your tail's then we got this one. And then we got this one. And she's a little troublemaker. Are you a little troublemaker? Do you make trouble? Are you making trouble for the people who love you? Oh, that was a cute one. Oh, now Ed's in here too. Everybody's hanging out. Hey, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Who's so good? Who's so good? You're the goodest. You're the goodest little pup. All right, down you go. Whoop. There you go. There you go. Who's so good? Who's so good? This is Hazel. She's nice. This is Hazel. She's nice. All right, we have a message. Is it about this? All right, we have game 2. We have game 2. Well, now Hazel doesn't want to leave, so that's a problem. Hazel, we got to cast game 2. Why don't you want to leave? Why don't you want to leave? Little puppy. Little puppy. Little puppy. Who's so good? Who's so good? All right, come on. Shoo, get out of here. All right, you can stay. Ugh. Oh, now you're going for the door. All right. Did I save it yet? Wonkiness with the $50 and a sheesh. And how? What the? Hang on. If you want out, you gotta pull the trigger on that. Go. All right, then you're staying in. Okay, I was just lurking behind the sheet now. Highest earning stream, least amount of Warhammer. It is not the least amount of Warhammer. We've had tons. But yeah, Wonkiness, thank you. Thank you for the donation. I think this is because of you learning how much it costs to ship stuff to Australia. But I very, very much appreciate your support. Though I am more than happy to send board games around the world because I just want people to play my board games. We need to pause. We need to figure out what the hell's going on because this started real fast. Whatever became of the bunnies? The mama moved them, and she's still in our backyard. We don't know where the bunnies are, where the baby bunnies are, but obviously that's a good thing. But yeah, the mom's still around. She chills. But yeah, Wonkiness. Let me know if you get around to playing it, how you ended up liking it. We have some people on Discord who play Puppet Masters, and there is an online version of it. So yeah. Okay, for Tzeentch, we have triple Forsaken. We have a Chaos Warrior of Tzeentch with Halberds, 2 Marauders of Tzeentch, triple Chaos Knights as well, 2 Furies, Kairos Fate Weaver with Blue Fire and Regrowth. I heard the pain in your voice and you asked if I was the one from Australia. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. On the side of the Wood Elves, for Ideologue, we do have 4 Glade Riders with spears, 4 Deepwood Scouts. Are these all Deepwood Scouts? 5 Deepwood Scouts. Got it. Some Eternal Guard in the back. Then we do have a Glade Lord on a dragon with Prey of Anothrania and a Spell Singer of Beasts with Amber Spear and Curse of Honor here. Interesting. But your support is very much appreciated. So thank you to everybody who's donated on the stream today. I don't even have the words to describe your generosity right now, so I'm just going to stumble through it and start casting this replay. So the Deepwood Scouts all got caught by these Chaos Knights of Tzeentch who have just saturated, and their charge even took them through, so now they're between the Deepwood Scouts and their escape. So the Deepwood Scouts can't get out of here even if they wanted to. They are just getting massacred in that little pile, and these other Deepwood Scouts got hit by Furies and Chaos Knights below our screen, so we didn't even see it coming. But that is a brutal loss for the Wood Elves on the start. And these Glade Riders are getting mulched by Furies and Forsaken, just taking them down. A quick little blue fire on the Glade Lord, and this might be a quick GG for the Tzeentch rush. This is definitely not what the Wood Elf player was expecting, because a Tzeentch heavy cav Fury rush is not anything anybody ever expects. So for the Deepwood Scouts, looks like 3 of them are shattered already. 3 out of the 5 are shattered. 1 is still routing and 1 is healthy, but it is now beset by Furies, and there is no one to save it anytime soon. Kairos is netted down with Prey of Anothrania, but there's just nothing to punish that. Like he's netted, but all the Deepwood Scouts are already dead. Jesus. Glade Lord lands on some Forsaken, trying to get it back, but like, I don't even know. Because the Wood Elf front line's going to lose to the Tzeentch front line. I mean, you have Forsaken and Chaos Warriors, for God's sake, you better win. And their range just got shut down immediately. That was brutal. Tzeentch Knight's really good in this matchup. I imagine they're shielded, right? Yeah, 120 armor, shielded, and they have those shields. Like, sorry. Barriers. Too many of the same word going around, but they are shielded and have barriers, making them rather formidable for the Wood Elves to deal with. Kairos is flying around. He's still full HP, full barriers. There's not too much more to say to that. Quick breath attack onto some Chaos Warriors and Forsaken. Nice value there from the Glade Lord, but it is probably too little, too late. Okay, cat's looking out the window. Heard a weird noise, worried he was choking on his own spit or something. Is this the last Deepwood Scout? No. 2 Deepwood Scouts left, both in equally bad positions. These Furies flying right up to them. Maybe you can get them to start Demonic Instability crumbling. Maybe. But I doubt it. Quick Gaze of Fate onto the Glade Lord. Blue fire from Kairos. Probably going to trigger army losses when it hits him. Not quite. That was close. Alright, next guess is the Terror out on these Glade Riders causes army losses. Terror out. No army losses yet. Really? Really, Wood Elves? You're making me look like a fool out here. So actually, those Furies did die, the Deepwood Scouts. Quick Prey of Anothrania on the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, and that's looking pretty netted. That's looking the most netted I've ever seen anything be netted. That's a net. That was a net that we all witnessed. Very net-like. Definitely stopped him. I don't think it would have changed the game at that point. Chaos Knights got good value overall. Forsaken did fine. Chaos Warriors did fine. The Furies of Tzeentch did fantastically. And that is that. For Ideologue, not going to see a lot of value probably. Most of the stuff just got run the fuck over. Except for that Eternal Guard got 850 value. So good job, that Eternal Guard. Deepwood Scouts, none of them got over 100. Okay, except for that guy. Jeez. Glade Riders got run too. They're running around with those nets all over them. Yeah. No nets for you. Okay, the last game's apparently going to be live. So I need to hurry up because the players are waiting on me. Oh yeah, the password's incorrect. All right, so we are catching the last game live. We have caught up to them at this point. And since I didn't have a blocker ready, I am just switching over to the Maps tab. Empire Dark Elves for the last game of the stream. Oh, that is a big pup. Oh, we have gotten some pictures of big pups in our Discord, and that makes me happy. That is a big pup. Oh. Alright, we're in. It's the fucking Black Lions. It's the Black Lions. Alright. Blood Penguin apparently played my board game and enjoyed it, so let's fucking go. Cool. This is just a pleasant night we are all having. All right, let's go. Let's do this. What's happening for this final game? Oh god. Okay, we're not fucking around at all, are we? Boojilicious with 5 Witch Elves. 5 Witch Elves plus the Sisters of Singing Doom. Okay, that's a Blackheart Corsair. I was going to say that's 6 Witch Elves total, which is 1 too many. Blackheart Corsair, 5 Witch Elves, including the Sisters of Singing Doom. We have a Supreme Sorceress of Dark, 2 Feral Manticores, and 2 Cold One Dread Knights, plus a regular Cold One Knight. That is a boss as fuck Dark Elf build. I'm normally not a fan of Dark Elves, but I am a fan of this build. That is very cool. I like it. Witch Elves, Dread Knights, Manticores. I mean, it's weird that I'd be rooting for Manticores, but it's been a long time since I've seen them do anything remotely good. On the other side, for the Empire, you have Demigryph Knights, Empire Knights, Boros Todbringer, a Deathcaster with Fate of Yuna and Spirit Leech, a bunch of Sigmarites ready to stand by their guns. We have the fucking Black Lions! Now this is a final. We get Witch Elf, Cold One Dread Knight Rush versus fucking Demigryphs and Black Lions, plus the Silver Bullets. We get the fucking Black Lions! Let's go, man! I'm so fucking excited. You have no idea. Someone sent me, if you're out there, I honestly forgot who sent it to me. A lot of people send me a lot of things. But someone was sending me a Black Lions versus Nurgle build that had, the enemy in that game took 2 Soul Grinders and Kugav, and the Black Lions got like 4,000 or 5,000 value. It was just awesome. So the Black Lions are really punishing those Cold One Dread Knights. A quick Spirit Leech plus a Boros Todbringer charge onto the Supreme Sorceress of Dark. I mean, she's gonna Soul Stealer, so she'll be fine. But damage is damage. You're getting it out. It's fine. Black Lions are shredding those poor Cold One Dread Knights. The Silver Bullets are available. Looks like Cold One Dread Knights are diving into Swordsman. And remember, this is live now, so the replay is not done. We don't know who wins. And these Cold One Dread Knights are annoying the Silver Bullets and these Swordsmen, stopping them from really firing like they want to. It looks like they have guard mode on, so they're still trying to get a couple shots off. The Black Lions in the distance are being defended by these Demigryph Knights. The Cold One Knights should actually trade decently effectively into the Demigryph Knights with their anti-large and armor piercing. Cold One Dread Knights joining in the fight as well, though they might have wanted to ignore them and just go on to the Black Lions. Meanwhile, Boros Todbringer is fighting a 3v1, and he wants nothing to do with it. Starts to run away with the Soul Stealer on him. It is poking him down slowly and healing up that lady. Demigryph Knights are caught out in the open, though, by these Cold One Dread Knights, and that rear charge onto them, plus the Rampage. Okay, the Rampage just wore off, but still that rear charge onto them is going to be brutal. Boros is stuck fighting a Manticore, and the Deathcaster is running away from the Manticore. Silver Bullets firing in as well to try and support. But the Sigmarites seem a little overwhelmed. There's just too much going on. There's too many Dark Elves, which is not a concept we're used to saying. The Black Lions had a really good start to the game, but now they're struggling. And with a Rampage on them from the Witch Elves, if their HP pool drops enough, they will be completely helpless in the hands of those infantry. Boris is slowly beating a Manticore while healing himself. Spirit Leech is further onto the Supreme Sorceress, but she has dove down onto the Silver Bullets, and she's just taking them out herself. Damage value is very, very even, but I have to feel like this game is tipping in the favor of the Dark Elves ever so slowly. And there it is. The Black Lions get Rampage. They're getting nuked down now, down to 3 models out of 4 already. Down to half HP and falling, and no one is around to help them out. Those Witch Elves are just going to eat them alive. And when those guys die, you'll see the damage value spike up for Pugilicious, and it already is, as Boris is also getting sniped up by the Dragon and the Manticore. Silver Bullets trying to just get their shit together and fire again, but the Witch Elves are done with the Sigmarite frontline. They are moving through. The Dark Elves have taken over this battlefield. The balance of power shifts drastically in the favor of the Dark Elves. That was me, I think, that played that game on stream the other day. Gotcha, Plaid. Gotcha. But yeah, the Witch Elf rush, unexpected by me, unexpected by the Empire player alike, and they just ran through you. At this point, I am going to have to leave rather swiftly. I wanted to go talk to Grace before she falls asleep, and that is coming in soon. So I'm going to do the closing here, even though the game is still going. Unfortunately, I do think this game is just over. I want to congratulate everybody who played today. I had a ton of fun hanging out with you guys. We saw a lot of new faces in the chat and around the tournament. We do hope to see you around some more. If you are mostly Domination people who gave Land Battle a shot, I hope it was worth a shot. If it was not, please continue to play Domination. We love having people in the community. It doesn't really matter what game mode you're playing in. We will host some more tournaments on Total Tavern, so keep an eye over there. We also do some stuff on Discord, so if you feel like joining our Discord, you will see all the tournaments, even the ones that don't show up on Total Tavern there. Congratulations to Ideologue for a valiant tournament run. You played extremely well. I was quite impressed with a lot of the new players we saw tonight. They had actually really strong micro, and their builds were a little janky, which, I mean, that hurts them in the meta perspective, but it is very fun to cast different builds like this one right here. I thought this was very fun. I thought it was very exciting, and honestly, Pugilicious also brought a rather strange but clearly effective build. So everybody we casted tonight, everybody we didn't get to cast tonight, thank you all for participating so much. This is legitimately the most fun I've had with a tournament, maybe since January. I can't guarantee that it's the most fun I've had ever, but this is one of the most fun tournaments I've had in my current memory. So thank you. To anybody who just joined the stream for a bit, I hope you also enjoyed it. I hope you drop a subscription. We are still trying to grow, as per usual. You know, everybody's always trying to do that, but yeah. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I have to go. So sorry about the sudden ending, but congratulations so much to Pugilicious, who won. You played great, buddy. And he can't play in any more new player tournaments, so he has officially graduated out of the new player system. And if you are thinking about joining another new player tournament and you don't want to run into the terror that is Pugilicious, he can't play anymore, so that's fine. Goodbye.